All right. Chat, do you read me? Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Am I coming through? Press some buttons, please. What's up, chat? What's going on, everybody? Am I live on YouTube? Hello. Oh, excuse me. Did you hear that? My bad. Boom. What's going on, chat? Listen, this caught me by surprise. If I seem a little pumped up, seem a little rattled, that's because I literally am, okay? I was in the middle of my workout, late night gym sesh after dinner. Today was very busy with IRL responsibilities, work, yada, yada, yada. And I figured the patch and Alex would be dropping far past my bedtime. So I already gave up on the hope of partaking in the festivities. And I thought I would resume those tomorrows. When in between sets, I'm browsing my phone and I see the battle change list pop up on my timeline. I hauled ass home, I booted up, and we're going to be going through the patch notes live. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, this is going to be a very raw first-time reaction. I stopped myself from reading too much before speeding on home at the legal limits. We're going to go through all the patch notes right now. Raw reaction, see what we have in store for this balance patch coming out with Alex tomorrow. So why don't we stop stalling here and go ahead and get on into it. Hey, thank you, Red Wine. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Here we go. Battle Changeless 3/17/2026 update. So the important thing to note before we get into it, see how this isn't a ver? This to me implies that this is not technically a new season. This is more akin to what the previous December's patch would be, is what I would probably call this, because typically there's a version for every major change, Season 2, Season 3, so this is technically not Season 4, apparently. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Adjustment summary, overall concept. So here are the overall changes in direction concept for the balance patch before we get into the individual character changes. A.K.I. Theosis, thank you for the 18 months, appreciate that. We made adjustments to all characters this time, mainly by making more attacks viable in the neutral and expanding combo options. However, as with previous balance adjustments, we made changes to moves with high returns that were difficult to deal with, as well as moves that were overly oppressive in order to improve the overall balance of the game, meaning nerfs. Please refer to each individual character's change list for details. In addition, we've made overall adjustments to standardize use of Drive Rush into overhead attacks between characters, as those differences can make the effectiveness of this technique vary widely. Ooh, Drive Rush overhead. They're targeting it. There are also changes to improve the responsiveness of controls, such as during the screen freeze when Drive Rush is performed. This might get complex. I got to understand what they're talking about. That's a big one to me. As someone who's been playing Viper, the screen freeze with Drive Rush interrupting your inputs for movement was very noticeable. Now, you would buffer special moves, and normal moves could be pretty easily buffered through the screen freeze, but it would flat out eat motion inputs. So you would think you're doing super jump burn kick, and then you would actually just be sitting on the ground because the Drive Rush screen freeze ate your super jump, and you're just walking forward. You're walking face forward into an oncoming Drive Rush attack. So this is actually a pretty big deal. Let's see. Overhead attacks that can combo from Drive Rush. All such moves have been standardized to be -3 on block, and the situation after blocking has also been standardized to an extent. Okay, so -3 on block. That means that with Drive Rush it should be +1. I think overheads before were usually like -1, so they're +3. +1 is pretty unique in this game because attacks beat throws. And your fastest attack is a 4-frame. So even if they're in range for throw after being +1 from Drive Rush overhead, if you mash jab, you will beat their throw attempt. So it's not a guaranteed strike throw. Unique attacks that hit overhead as result in a normal grounded knockback on hit are designed so that during a Drive Rush they will combo on hit and also leave you at advantage on block, letting you continue your offense. These moves differed in block stun and pushback on block, but after taking into consideration their usefulness as a tool to break the opponent's guard and return for doing so, we've adjusted them to mostly follow the following 2 rules. They are now -3 frames on block, so +1 with Drive Rush, When blocked after a drive rush, the pushback on standing guard will be far enough so that normal throws or chaining light attacks with a low attack like crouching light kick to light punch will no longer connect. Okay. Normal throws will not connect. Okay, so you can walk away. You can walk away. Think of this situation as maybe, what's a good example? Bison stand heavy punch, or a similar type of situation where, or Honda headbutt. If you walk back and they try to chain with a low to get a combo, they're not going to be able to get a combo. However, they can go for a hard read with like a crouching medium kick, but they're going to have to overextend, which means that you can press jab to interrupt their crouching medium kick because they don't have that much frame advantage. So yeah, the advantage after a driver's overhead is significantly reduced here. If there's a real risk of or a real elimination of the threat of immediate throw. Of course, they can do things like walk up throw or like light peppering and staggering their light pressure to condition to sit still. But they're going to have to earn that turn, and you have way more opportunity to challenge and prevent them from overextending. Pinkinesis with the 45 months, thank you. Yawgmoth69 with the 16, and Surge HC with the 4 months, and the Mango Pup with the 10 months also. Thank you, everybody. Okay. I hope the Street Fighter people are doing good with their patch notes. The Tekken people have fallen into dark times. Yeah, I was at the gym literally because I didn't think this would drop. And all I was reading on the timeline is Speed Kicks and FDX just roasting the Tekken patch and telling everyone to go back to playing Pokemon and whatever. So it was funny reading all those reactions, and then simultaneously this patch has dropped. I don't know what to expect yet. I like this change, though. This is a change. I like that they're nerfing the advantage on drive rush overhead. This is good. This is a plus to me so far. Hundreds was taken. Appreciate the prime. Adjustments were made with the goal of the two above rules. Adjustments were made with the goal of the above two rules in mind. But because the reach of light attacks and effectiveness when being blocked varies between characters, there are some differences in the distance after guarding depending on the character in regards to Rule 2. Okay, so the pushback is variable. Also, while its effectiveness as an attempt to break guards has diminished, the added distance from Rule 2 means that it remains an easy-to-use and low-risk option. Okay, sure. Drive rush overhead still good. Pressing up during a drive rush screen freeze. Yes, this feels like a direct response to Sea Viper being added to the game. I was just complaining about this, about how drive rush screen freeze destroys your super jump buffer. A jump will now occur when up is input during a drive rush screen freeze. This adjustment only affects when a drive rush is used in neutral, not when canceling into drive rush during a hit or while blocking. This change saves the up input during the screen freeze, which should reduce cases where the screen freeze prevented you from jumping and left you on the ground, as well as make it easier to use aerial special moves right after jumping, like Cammy's Cannon Strike or Kumazenku Hadoken, even when the inputs clash with drive rush screen freeze. Yeah, if you played a character that wants to jump into the air then do something, you felt this, because you would think that you're in the air because you already hit up, and you would think that you're inputting your special move, and then the driver screen freeze eats that up input, and then you're just on the ground, and you're just getting hit in the face by the drive rush button. So I think this is pretty good. It's pretty good. You really feel it with Sea Viper a lot. Excuse me, congested. However, there is still a set priority for when multiple inputs are performed during the screen freeze. So there are cases as where a grounded special move will take priority over a jump input, and canceling the startup of a jump into a grounded special move will still occur as before. These behaviors are intentional. I like that. This allows you to cancel, essentially carry cancel your jump if you see the driver screen freeze to do something else. I like that. Finally, a neutral jump input can be overwritten by forward or back jump input. Inputting a neutral jump and then holding forward or back will cause the appropriate directional jump to occur. Please understand that this behavior is also intended. Okay. Buffer input on wake up. 3 frames added to buffer input time on wake up. Whoa. What? Did they just gloss over this?
Bitch, I live in a fucking trash can.
Did they just gloss over this entirely? 3 inputs added to the buffer time on wake up. I think it was already 5 frames in this engine. They didn't mention this. They've almost doubled the buffer input on wake up. That should help a lot with wake up DI. It basically means that anything you buffer should be easier, such as buffering a super, buffering a reversal, buffering whatever. You're less likely to miss it. But also that means if you're mashing something and then change your mind, you need to change your mind 3 frames sooner. So this is probably overall a net positive in how it feels, but it has consequences. You don't want buffers to be too large because they can start having unintended gameplay consequences while you're playing. So it's a balancing act. It's a balancing act. But I think Street Fighter 4, for example, had a 10-frame buffer for special moves. I think Street Fighter 6 had less. So this is, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, which it usually doesn't, this should be bringing it more in line with Street Fighter 4. Here, I have this old post by I don't know who that documents some Street Fighter 6 engine details and documents the input leniency for buffers for special moves and things of that nature. Input polling, input buffering. Street Fighter 5 is 8 frames. Street Fighter 6 is 5 frames for dash. Are these just wake up? Down. This is during wake up or while in neutral rather. Negative edge. Is there like special moves? Oh, 5 possible frames. Yeah. So Street Fighter 4 actually had a more lenient input buffer for special moves. So this is still pretty close to Street Fighter 4 if it's 8 frames now. Okay, should be fine. You might make it feel it's more consistent to do reversal supers. Okay, specific overhead attacks. Yeah, they changed them to -3 on block, which means they're only +1 on drive rush, and they have a lot of pushback, so you can't normal throw right away or do 2 attacks. So these characters were adjusted to have the -3 overhead. Ryu, Chun-Li, Aki, Akuma, Terry, Elena, and Sagat. And the characters with overhead attacks that had their distance block adjusted. So these guys only had the distance adjusted. I guess they were already -3. I don't know. Right? Was Terry's already -3, for example? I guess it was -2? His is already -2, so that means it's still +2. So some of these are still more than +1. Seems a little inconsistent. And special moves. When canceling a normal attack into a special move, normally drive rush inputs wouldn't override the previous input, and the drive attacks couldn't be performed. Adjustments have been made so that attacks that require specific conditions to perform, Guile's Soldier Puncher while Super Art 2 is active, even if those conditions aren't met and the player performs the attacks, drive impact inputs would be over and wouldn't be performed. For those situations, drive rush/drive impact will now be performed. Okay, so it seems like there's like a specific priority system that they changed to make it more reliable to get drive rush and drive impact. Okay, big takeaways: a lot of overheads reduced to only +1, and pushback to make them less effective for going for throws after, and an input buffer on wake up. All right, those are the universal changes, and that's it. Nothing else. All right. There's no increased hurt box on raw drive rush, no punish counter state, no nothing. Just drive rush overheads becoming a little bit less effective. We're getting into the character-specific adjustments now, if it chooses to load. Uh-oh. We might be cooked, I don't know. Oh, did I find it? It worked. Okay, never mind. Side is exploding. Yeah, I figured. Thank you to all the subs and resubs. I'm Gimbo with the big 8 months, DPR Ryu with the 4 months, Woodster with the 19, and Fafa Boy 1 with the fresh prime. Thank you, everybody. Luke, keeping in line with Luke's strengths as a character, we focused mainly on his ability to keep pressure up while advancing on opponents and the utility of Flash Knuckle. Double impact his towards heavy punch target combo by changing the effect of the final hit from a blowback to a standing tailspin. We made it possible to follow up this attack with a charged medium Flash Knuckle for a high damaging combo. Wow, it's going to be on the ground spinning. This is possible only when the first hit lands, connects as a punish counter. Oh, so it's a punish counter combo. Maybe more damage on a reversal punish. So perfect Heavy flash knuckle. We made it so that Luke will be closer to his opponent when the move is blocked, which creates an opening that can be taken advantage of to string in more attacks. That's plus, right? That's the charge heavy knuckle, so he'll have more pressure if you block the heavy knuckle. Light flash knuckle. By changing the recovery time and advantage on block gained by opponents, we made it possible for Luke to cancel out of a successful hit with a super art, which gives him the opportunity to go for a follow-up attack in the corner. It will now be easier after mid-screen to cover an opponent getting up with something like crouching medium punch, and in the corner, a grounded hit can now be followed up with a light rising uppercut or super art 2. The adjustment to blowback on airborne opponents was made to ensure his anti-air combo remained unchanged. What? They lost me by talking about advantage on block gain. Let's read the actual notes to see what it says. Heavy punch. Recovery on block changed from 23 to 22 frames, so it's -5 now instead of -6. So it's safer to swing the heavy punch. That probably makes a big difference. -6 means easily punishable by certain characters with the great 6-frame mediums to not being punishable by mediums. So that's a big deal. Stephmo7 with the Prime. Samaj273 with the Prime. Oski Rowe with the 21 with the 7 months. Mosey Twitch TV with the 5 months. Cheers. Thank you. Okay, so we saw the forward heavy punch. It's going to be punch counter against standing opponents. Combo scaling and second attack change from 20% to 10% when the first attack lands as punish counter. And it'll be a tailspin. Yeah, this is probably a way to give him more damage for big openings. Because, you know, a big issue with Luke was his damage output once they started to add scaling to his common starters, which was his crouching medium punch. I like this idea of making it so an unlikely starter, which needs to be on a punish counter, does more damage because, like, oh, you've earned the reversal punish. You're going to get your big damage here rather than from your spammable crushing medium punch. Light flash knuckle. What do they mean? Recovery change from 31 to 27 frames. Advantage on block change from -18 to -12. Okay, so they reduce the number of recovery frames to make it faster. If the hit connects, it can be canceled into a super art during the last 3 frames of recovery. So you can combo this into a super. Blowback distance when hitting a standing opponent has been reduced. Blowback time when hitting an airborne opponent has been reduced. So there's like maybe better meterless combos into super. That's interesting. There might be like a way to meterlessly combo into things like level 2. Light flash knuckle, the perfect one, adjusted the buffer input time at the end of recovery by 4 frames, matching the buffer. Okay, whatever. It's just bug fix. And heavy flash knuckle, decreased pushback on block, because that's a plus on block move, so that gives him better pressure. So he has better pressure, a better combo for punishes, and better routing to combo without using resources into supers.
Noah can finally beat Punk with all these Luke changes now. Pog you.
I'm sure he's winning Capcom Cup any day now. They might let him into the top 16. That hasn't happened yet, right? We wanted to give Jamie more offensive options at lower drink levels and make it easier for him to use moves that become available to him at higher drink levels. Okay, so buffing Jamie. Crouching light kick, crouching medium kick. Now if you hit an opponent with a crouching light kick out of a drive rush, you'll be able to fall with a crouching medium kick. Combined with crouching medium kicks extended reach, Jamie can now also put on more pressure with low attacks, whereas he often needed to use a mid-hitting attacks like swagger step and drive rush into heavy punch. Oh, okay. I didn't really know he couldn't do that before. A lot of characters can do that routing. So better lows keeps you pinned down, holding down back, opens you up more. That's a pretty nice little change. Stand heavy punch. Please make this punishable on block. We made it less challenging to perform combos when this hits an airborne opponent by widening the window for the third hit to connect. This makes moves like crouching heavy kick and arrow kick easier to throw into the mix. Okay, sure. Buff to his combos. Ease of use, sure. Runs to haze the forward heavy kick into back heavy kick punch. The headbutt follow-up has been sped up so they can counter an opponent's 4-frame move after they block at the first hit of Ransui Haze. The sliding punch has also been strengthened, providing more incentive to raise Jamie's drink level. Okay, so they're buffing the towards heavy kick into that back sway move. Headbutt to challenge and frame trap, and then Apparently something to improve the like windmill punches where he slides on the ground to chase people down. Normal overdrive, free flow strikes. That's the Core circle forward punch, 2 punches, punch, his Rekka. When the first follow-up attack connects with an opponent, they will be drawn in closer to Jamie instead of pushed away. We made this adjustment to prevent an issue in which hitting an opponent with the edge of the furthest hitbox would result in whiffs on consecutive hits. Okay, so a vacuum effect to make it consistent combo. Crushing light kick, yeah, frame advantage change from +1 to +3. That's pretty big. That's gonna probably change not just comboing to crushing MK, but other combos. That's pretty big actually. Crouching medium kick, expanded the hitbox forward. They didn't mention this. They buffed his crouching medium kick. That's big. That's really big. Anytime a low forward drive rush cancel character gets extended range on crouching medium kick, that's a big deal. This is probably the most impactful buff. They didn't even say anything. So they sped up the cancel out of the towards heavy kick in level 4, and they sped up the attacks. And if you go into the punch, the windmill punch, added an attack hitbox to the first hit of the first additional attack that can only hit during a combo. Adjusted pushbacks of the first hit of the first additional attack moves the opponent toward Jamie. What? Overdrive A.K.I, the breakdance kicks. Attack startup changed from 21 to 18 frames. They didn't mention this. This is huge. 3 frames faster on his anti-fireball move. Change the first attack's active frames from 3 to 6 frames. Change recovery from 62 to 59. Recovery on block reduced from 46 to 43. That's his breakdance kicks, right? That's huge. That's actually really big. Okay, Jamie got like actual significant buffs here, which it's the boring stuff, right? Increased range on a crouching medium kick, and more range or faster startup on your anti-fireball tool. Boom. Right? Those are very straightforward, fundamentally strong ways to buff a character. None of this like weird drive gauge shenanigans they try to apply with his unique systems. His unique systems are cool, but at the end of the day, unfortunately, when you make powerhouse all-rounder characters, you need powerhouse all-rounder buffs. I think these are actually kind of significant. Manon. I don't even feel like reading these. I feel like I get more info just reading the patch notes. Manon's changes to the combo count limited for standing heavy punch and less pushback on hit for heavy degage makes her strike stronger, which in turn should give her more opportunities to force the opponents to guess between her strikes and throws. On the other hand, her normal moves have infamously long reach, so it seems there was little risk to Manon for using stand heavy kick. Its standby block timing has been changed to make it less oppressive in the ground game, a.k.a. they nerfed her stand heavy kick. And hot, back medium kick, the overhead target combo. The counter and punish counter effects will now carry on from the first to second hit. So now where it was previously difficult to follow up from at certain distances, a counter hit should now allow you to follow up with light reverse and a punish counter with things like overdrive, degage, increasing the returns. Okay, so basically you always get the benefit of the first hit being punish or counter hit to give you better combo confirms. Heavy punch. The first hit also benefits from the increased combo count upper limit of stand heavy punch, so now you have more chances to use this. Combos and the extra active frames should make it harder to whiff the rest of the combo when your opponent is high up, so it juggles easier. So better juggles a stand heavy punch. Stand heavy kick. Standby block hitbox timing changed from second frame of the technique to the 12th frame. Is this proximity guard? Is that standby block hitbox? I don't feel like I'm not familiar with their terminology here. So instead of being, that's what it is? Okay, that's actually pretty big. That means that normally on the second frame, if you were in the proximity hitbox range, which was a very big range, even if you held left or right, whatever, you were just stuck in place. If you try to hold back to block or walk away, you would only block. You wouldn't walk away. Moving that from the second frame of the move to the 12th means that if you're holding back, they activate the move. There's 10 more frames where your back walk will still activate until the 12th frame pins you in place. meaning you can just be holding back and potentially walk out of range and make it whiff. This is the problem with Ryu's Solar Plexus. Solar Plexus, a big strength of that, it's a slow forward advancing heavy move that's +3 on block. Big strength of it is that it locks you in place, so it feels like it increases the range and it pins you down from like maneuvering around it. So that's big. It's going to be much easier to make this big ass heavy kick whiff. Crouching light kick added projectile invincibility. That's weird. Who cares about that? Active frames change from 2 to 5 on the heavy punch. Okay. I think we covered most of this. Honestly, is this anything? Reduced hit back, reduced pushback on hit for the overhead, maybe easier combos? This seems mostly like a nerf. There's some combo consistency changes, and there might be some tech in here that I don't fully appreciate, but this seems more like a nerf. Like the easy to understand things that have impact are the heavy kick being able to whiff. Oh shit, Guile PC, what's up, Guile? Big 10 gifted subs. Cheers, man. Appreciate that. That's very generous of you. Congrats, everyone got dunked. Enjoy all the mid-tier emotes. What up, BP? What's good, man? You're dropping Tekken? Which balance patch is are you feeling more, the Tekken or the Street Fighter one? Better combos, but worse neutral. Definitely nerf Street Fighter 1. Damn. Tekken players can't catch a break. For Kimberly, we've changed the way all normal moves except crushing heavy kick work when performed after a normal hidden variable, quarter circle back plus P. I forgot what move that is. We brought these moves closer in line to normal moves performed after drive rush by increasing combo count limit and changing the effect of hitting an airborne opponent to a knockdown. That's teleport? Okay, thank you. When hidden variable connects with a jumping opponent, you can now hit them with a follow-up and then extend that into a combo without expending any drive gauge by utilizing a series of attacks like shuriken, bombs, and so on. So they're basically giving juggle properties like out of dry rush from any move from her teleport. That's actually kind of a interesting change. So if she scrambles with teleport and gets a hit, she can potentially pick up and do things like drive rush, jab loops, and other weird pickups. It basically means like in weird scramble scenarios, she can potentially convert airborne hits. So I think that might be pretty interesting because that means I think it's going to reward situational awareness and lead to more variability in the combo game. It's going to be a rare situation, and I think that will lead to potentially hype moments where like a high-level Kim does something you haven't seen before or converts on the fly, right? You know, I'm down for stuff like that. Could lead to surprising moments, anything that adds some spice. So the effect of normal attacks, excluding crushing heavy kick, hitting an airborne opponent after reappearing, change from knockback to knockdown. Exactly, to juggle. Okay. No nerfs to arc step, though. Hold that mix. That's it. Okay. Just a potential for more seasoning, more sauce for Marisa, for Kimberly. But we will be holding heavy punch into arc step. Can we get Marisa? Can we get Marisa? Come on. Come on, Buckler. What do you got? What do you got for me, Buckler? Let me see it. Marisa sending heavy kick is now riskier, but her other moves used in her neutral game have been made stronger. Oh, man. Whoever is doing the patch notes is a Broski fan. Standing heavy kick has long reach and huge return on punish counter, but compared to similar moves from other characters, the window to punish it is small. We are finding many matchups were becoming too linear due to this move being hard for many characters to check when Marisa whiffs. Facts, though, this move was abusable. You know what? These are nerfs to like pretty low tier characters, but I do agree that they're pretty degen. I think Manon's stand heavy kick was pretty degen, and I do think Marisa's stand heavy kick was pretty degen. They were attached to bad characters, but those are pretty spammable. So those were problematic moves, I think. But you might want to do other things to compensate. We are hoping to improve match interactions by expanding the hurt box in the later part of the moves to make it riskier when whipped, as well as strengthen Marisa's other moves used in neutral game to make them more appealing. Okay, fine. Crouching medium kick. You now have more options to combo from this unpunished counter or drive rush. For example, you can connect the now faster forward medium punch, letting you combo into a Novacula thrust and a Novacula swipe. Hype. What the fuck is it? Novacula? This gives you a knockdown to keep on the pressure, as well as the option to cancel into super arts for big damage. As one of your core pokes that hits low, it is now more rewarding both as an opening offense and as a counter poke. Phalanx. The advantage in pushback and block has been adjusted, improving its strength as a poke and approaching tool. The medium and higher versions will now allow you to counter a potential counterattack with light two-hitter, and the heavy and overdrive versions leave you close enough to land and fold if you hit at close enough range.
Bitch, I live in a fucking trash can.
So okay, let's look at the actual data. They're speaking gibberish to me. Dang man, thanks for the 10 months. Vibe is mild positivity. Standing heavy kick. Expanded the front hurt box. It appears 12 frames before the technique ends. Okay, great. Crouching MK. Advantage on hit change from +3 to +5. That's fair. I mean, give her something a little bit more rewarding to whiff punish from and to stop people from walking away. Novacula thrust. This is forward, medium punch, heavy kick. What is it? Is this her overhead? What is this? What am I missing? Oh, forward medium punch. Yeah, the fast lunging forward medium punch. Thank you. Start up on the first active attack change from 10 to 9 frames. So they made this faster? Wow. That was already pretty fast. Phalanx. Advantage on block change from +2 to +3, and pushback on block reduced on the heavy version. That's kind of scary. That is kind of scary. I cannot lie. Yeah. They're saying you can punish counter with crouching medium kick on a whiff punish, and then combo into the forward medium target combo, maybe into a knockdown. But making this more rewarding like that, less pushback on the heavy, that's actually kind of scary. Strike throw mix coming in. Overdrive Phalanx. Armor hitbox expanded downward. Armor activates frames change from 7 to 12 frames, and pushback on block reduced. Marisa's getting in. And then Light Demakurus. Combo only attack hitbox added to the first active frame, allowing Marisa to hit opponents in front of her easier. Okay, sure, whatever. So Marisa's getting in with more plus frames and less pushback and better whiff punishing tools into knockdowns. And the trade-off is she's more whiff punishable on her high cash out rewarding stand heavy kick. I think these are pretty solid buffs. I think this is actually a pretty clever synergy with these buffs here to give her ways to whiff punish into knockdowns. And then also, I think this is just scary. This is just cranking the dial on the power level. A bit more degeneracy for Marisa. Lily's rush-in attacks, Condor Spire, and Condor Dive were adjusted, making it possible to unleash combos and movements that weren't possible before. Overdrive Normal, Windclad Condor Spire, by pressing either light and medium or light and heavy kicks when performing the normal or Windclad version, you can shorten the distance traveled, creating new movement possibilities not available in the existing version. They're giving her the ability to light Blanka Ball the Condor Spire to bait out parries. Is that what I'm reading?
Oh, well, if you
For the normal version, you can either choose to rush in for combos from a closer distance, or because recovery has been reduced, go for strikes and throws instead. For the Windclad version, there are more changes than just the shorter distance. Blowback after hit, the advantage of hitting mid-screen, and the time given for follow-up attack after hitting in the corner have all been adjusted. The advantage and distance on block are uniform across both versions, so use the best version for the situation.
Oh, well, if you can't beat them, join them!
So she's gonna be like zipping around the screen with a short command dash that has a hitbox and make things whiff and command grab your parry. I mean, to be honest, that makes it more dynamic. You're at least gonna have to think against this character, but her problem was that she was way too linear in D-Gen, but this is oh boy. Okay, normal overdrive, Windclad, Condor dive, and then what is this? Perfect parry or PvP during neutral. Oh, the input. When Windclad, you can now expend Windclad stock to perform another Condor dive when rebounding from a hit or block. What? She's gonna dive kick at you out of the air. Bah! She's gonna bounce back. You're gonna go in for the punish, and she's gonna go bah! Again. They said fuck it. They went Mugen with this one. I mean, listen, this sounds annoying, and it sounds like it's going to make this annoying character way more annoying, but Lily it's a nothing burger character. This is dumb. These seem kind of dumb. However, it's also kind of funny. So I'm kind of, I'm going to be pissed off fighting against it, but I also think it's kind of funny. So I'm kind of feeling it a little bit. I'm kind of feeling it a little bit. Because this character was so boring. Just fundamentally, they did not know what to do with her to make her intriguing. This might actually add some life to this character. It can also be used to increase damage on an attack or to stop an opponent's attempt to counterattack after blocking. Since it's now possible to go from an overdrive Tomahawk Buster to an overdrive Condor Dive, and then another Condor Dive, you can use all your resources all at once to deal massive damage. Yeah, so... what is this? That's the DP, right? DP into the dive. So DP dive. What's that gonna look like? Reperforming a Condor dive can only be executed once, regardless of whether it's the normal or overdrive version. The additional overdrive Condor dive's drive gauge consumption is 10,000. How much is that? Everything? I forgot the units for drive gauge. That's 1 bar. Okay. The additional overdrive Condor dive's drive gauge consumption is 1 million. 1 million drive. Okay, that's 1 bar. Why can't they say 1 bar? They could put in parentheses 1 bar of drive gauge. 10,000. You're gonna go into debt. Okay, you're gonna not have any drive gauge for the next 13 sets or so. Okay. All right, standing heavy punch, attack startup change from 11 to 10 frames. They had to just add another fucking buff to this move. Listen, you don't have to. If you're gonna give her all the funny buffs, you can stop buffing this damn move. This is the problem. If you make this move good, none of this other shit will happen. If anything, they should start nerfing this and forcing her to start using the other moves. Crouching heavy punch is a good one. Oh yeah, I guess I'm thinking of crouching heavy punch. Stand heavy punch is which animation? That's the more forward poke with the sticks, right? Yeah, she slams down. Okay. Yes, it's not crouching heavy though, where she swings behind the head and over. Overdrive Condor Spire, 2 kicks. Reduce the distance traveled when pressing either light and medium or light and heavy attacks. So you have different inputs for the modern controls. Recovery changed from 16 to 13 frames. Oh my god. Dude, she's going to be zipping around, command dashing and command grabbing. Okay, Overdrive Condor Spire with Windclad, reduce the distance traveled with light or medium or light and heavy kicks. The shorter distance Overdrive Windclad Condor Spire has different effects on hits, such as blowback from the existing version. So maybe different combos. You can now Windclad stock to perform another Condor dive when rebounding from hit or block. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this actually works in practice. But it sounds like they're literally making it so that if you try... Because the strategy against Lily right now is see her flinch at all when she has Windclad stock, and then try to fish for a perfect parry on Condor Spire. That's all you do against her now. Now, if you do that, you're going to get command grab. You're going to have to probably do perfect parry drive rush OS, and then she can probably hit you out of that. There's going to be a game of chicken with the parry game. JP. We looked at the strengths of a few of JP's normals, as well as the situation after a forward throw in the corner. These changes make for less of a return on hit. While there are some moves that will be harder to throw out, there are also more options from his signature move, Departure. So his options in neutral shouldn't feel too limited. That's so strange that they even felt like they needed to add that. People don't want to see more options from his signature move, Departure. I mean, I don't mind. I'm just saying, I know how the people feel. They tell me every time they can't stand this dude. Shadow. Some moves that were previously unable to cancel into this move now are able to, with the exception of Crouching Heavy Kick. Moves with good reach, like Standing Medium Punch and Crouching Medium Kick, can now make a block string or let you aim for a combo, so your pressures don't even scare you. Wait, is Shadow the spike? So you can do stand medium punch is the one where he like whips the cane all the way out there. Massive far poke. Downside is, it's not cancelable. It's a little bit of a jump in or DI fodder. They're saying you can do this and pop the portal now manually and get a combo from that. That's nuts. That's actually nuts. Forward throw. JP had one of the best situations of any character after landing a forward throw in the corner. So considering that it can be used in combination with Departure to increase the returns, we made large changes to both the advantage and distance you were left at. Okay, does this confirm that one dude, the one guy in Korea who had Street Fighter 6 on Xbox with the leak, it was true? Because he showed that JP's throw loop was nerfed, so it's not a walking throw loop anymore. He had a dash to get a throw loop. The Xbox leak was real. Yeah, the gas leak this time seemed a lot more legitimate, but I chose not to perceive it. Stand heavy kick, drive gauge reduction on block change from -6,000 to -4,000. That's a decent nerf. Crouching medium punch adjusted the hurt box so that it remains for the entire duration of the recovery instead of disappearing 9 frames before the move ended. That's big. Yeah, more whiff punish on that godlike crouching medium punch. Keep the hurt box out there. That's big. Drive gauge reduction on block change from -2,500 to -2,000 on heavy kick, heavy punch. Okay, yeah, reduce the drive gauge. More with punishability. Always welcome. Tourbillon, his fireball, right? Extended the vertical search area upward of the projectile while the move is being performed to help prevent whiffs during aerial combos. Okay, made his overhead fireball easier to combo with. And then Departure, Shadow while Departure is active. You can cancel now out of Standing Medium Punch, Standing Heavy Kick, Crouching Light Kick, and Crouching Medium Kick. I didn't even think about that. No, Crouching Medium Kick? I didn't even think about that. That move is so degen. Imagine, that move is impossible to not get hit by at least once when he starts mashing that Crouching Medium Kick. Imagine he does that and pops the portal and you lose 60% with the CA. That's actually nuts. The Stand Medium was my first thought because that has crazy range. But Crouching Medium Kick, when he has Departure out, you're actually going to be stuck in a high-low mix. Like crazy. No level 2 nerf. I just wanted them to like revert the change from OD Fireball to level 2 cancel. That's the main thing I wanted. Forward throw, decrease the knockdown time by 1 frame, increase distance from opponent in the corner. Okay, so that's going to change a lot of his Oki with the portals. So that's, overall, guys, he's nerfed. Let's keep it a buck. This change is going to be annoying and help in some situations, but the throw change is decently big, and the drive gauge and whiff punish ability, that will add up. I would say he's slightly nerfed overall, for sure. But it's not significant, and he got compensation buffs. We have, Juri, by the way, Juri. We're doing Juri. Garrot SX, thanks for the Prime. TGS Date Bane with the Prime. Dagra FGC with the Prime. John Barrows with the Prime. Appreciate that. Dangman with the Prime also. Appreciate you guys. Juri. Man, they're writing essays about Juri. Jeez. We've assessed Juri's performance and made adjustments to her Ankansatsu technique and overdrive Fuhajin combos. While these changes slightly increase the risk of missing Renko kicks, the 4+ heavy punch, they allow you to use Ankansatsu to check an opponent from a distance if they attempt to move away and cause a whiff. Normal Fuha boosted overdrive Ankatsu, course to forward, medium kick, or light kick, or plus heavy kick. We reduced the advantage on block and extended the reach of the later half of the combo. Adjustments were also made to allow the non-combo attack to zone an opponent by targeting the tip. I don't know what the fuck I'm reading here. They use too many move names. Particularly, we adjusted the standby block hitbox and pushback on block for the normal version to allow a non-combo hit to cause a knockdown, and enhancing its usability as a spacing tool. This will help create opportunities to attack with no Fuha stocks. The boosted version can now produce a ground bound when hitting a mid-air opponent, which can be followed up with a level 3. Overdrive Fuhajin, combo count and blowback distance were adjusted to allow for more follow-up attacks, making it a valuable option to acquire Fuha stocks while dealing damage. Okay, I'm just gonna read the fucking patch notes. This is like, I'm not understanding this. Towards medium punch. Hit on airborne opponent during a combo, change from knockback to knockdown. Okay, interesting. So that means you can get juggles from her towards medium punch now? Forward heavy kick, forward heavy punch. Recovery on whiff change from 20 to 23. Expanded the front hurt box that appears after active frames and from the 5th frame to the end of the attack. That's the 2 kicks that she does, right? That makes it easier to whiff punish without running into the second hit and dying. Light Tensorin, her light DP. Reduce upward blowback in the first hit. When the first hit hits an opponent in the air, make it easier to land the second hit. Okay, whatever. None of these changes are speaking to me. Does any of this matter? Sorry, I'm just reading through. None of this is meaning anything to me. Sorry, Juri enjoyers. I'm lost on this one. Yeah, this is too technical and in the weeds, and it doesn't really seem that impactful. If there's something important there, please speak up. I'm moving on. Dee Jay's main changes have to do with solidifying the strengths of each version of Machine Gun Upper and Juggling Sway. This has resulted in increased combo damage and ways he can fake out his opponents, amplifying Dee Jay's unique groove. On the other hand, his crouching medium punch and heavy punch will leave you more vulnerable when whiffed, making his powerful counterpost riskier. I like that. Crouching medium punch, while the length of the move and hurtbox on whiff have been extended, making it riskier, the knockback time has also increased, and now it can combo into medium machine gun uppercut. You can now get good damage off of a straight hit or combo without spending drive gauge. Okay. And then his overdrive machine gun upper, quarter circle back, double punch. While it does real good damage, there were few opportunities to use this move. With the faster attack startup, you can now combo into this move for moves like standing heavy punch and face breaker, the back heavy kick. Okay, and then normal overdrive juggling sway. The hurtbox while moving has shrunk, and you can now cancel into just cool follow-up attacks during the later half of the movement. So now you can avoid opponents reacting to your approach as well as punish with a counter attack. The hurtbox while moving has shrunk. They buffed the sway hurtbox retraction? and you can cancel into follow-ups later? They made that better? Of particular note is when the overdrive just cool is blocked at close range. You now have an even greater number of strong follow-ups, making it all the more certain your opponents will be unable to defend against your assault. So crouching medium punch, give it more frame advantage on hits, +4 to +5, and they added one more frame of whiff recovery and adjusted the front hurt box that appears during recovery on whiff so that it lasts until the end of the move instead of disappearing 3 frames before. It's always so bizarre to me that, like, it's always 3-4 years in that Capcom starts going like, oh, we should just give things hurt boxes. They did this with Street Fighter V, and they're doing it with Street Fighter VI. I don't understand why the hurt boxes on so many things are so undertuned until years in. I guess they want to play it safe, and they don't want things to leave lingering hurt boxes and make shit like I think the number one fear for a Street Fighter title is they don't want people to not be offensive. They don't want people to be reserved in their approach because everything gets punished. But consistently over the years, they're like, yeah, sorry, this move is degenerate. At least you can punish people for spacing it badly. They want to encourage people to fish with their attacks and just kind of wish punish things. Crouching heavy punch expanded the front hurt box that appears after active frames end. Yes, this move is crazy. Dee Jay's crouching heavy punch, they're mashing that shit on block, on hit. While they're being beat up, they're mashing that because at one point, one of your buttons is going to whiff, and this will punish counter the shit out of you. I like having this have an extended hurt box. This move was really weird with its hurt box retraction. That's big. So you can now cancel the Funky Slicer, Waning Mood, and Juggling Dash out of Juggling Sway. Reduce the forward hurt box between frames 5 through 17 of the normal version and frames 5 through to 13 of the overdrive version. Sped up the timing when Dee Jay moves backward in the overdrive version. Yeah, they're buffing Sway. Better movement. Better cancels, so he can cancel into his different specials. If I'm reading this correctly, right? These are his other special moves, right? And he can also cancel. He gets out of the way faster. So, okay. Some buffs, some nerfs. Not too major. Cammy's signature move, Cannon Strike, has been adjusted to include benefits for executing it effectively. We have also implemented improvements to make your combo pieces easier to use. Delayed Ripper, the towards heavy kick. The follow-up attack options have been expanded by reducing recovery on hit and the combo counter start of value. A normal hit can now lead from a canceled drive rush into moves like swing combination, and light quick spin knuckle can be followed up with a level 1 super art punish during a punish counter without having to cancel. Okay. So buffing the towards heavy kick option. We have made, for the Cannon Strike, her dive kick, we have made improvements to the hit effect just after landing the attack, making it easier to pressure an opponent on block and connect combos on hit. While it may be difficult to pull off, successful execution will allow you to quickly gain the upper hand. This is so vague. I don't know why I even read these these summaries. What does that mean? Is it more plus on block or hit? Let's see what they mean. Forward heavy kick that reduced the recovery on hit from 25 to 20 frames. Increased upward blowback on punish counter. Okay, so better combos when starting with towards heavy kick. Dive kick. The following changes have been applied when landing the attack. The screen will shake on hit or block. Knockback time on hit or block increased by 2 frames. Reduce pushback on hit or block. Do they mean this will have the screen shake effect when it hits low enough to be plus? It can be plus now. Dive kick could always be plus. But this is really strange that they didn't say that it'll add that effect only when plus. Dive kick could always be plus. You just have to space it low enough. It has to hit like the ankles or lower. To me, maybe we'll have to see it in action. I feel like this was... they're not. Why would they make it screen shake when it's not plus? I think they're trying to say that it'll screen shake when it's only hitting plus, but maybe I'm wrong. It's a little strange. Yeah, like the Luke and Terry, the screen shake when it's plus on those space moves. Luke, heavy kick, and Terry, burn knuckle. What's the point of the screen shake? It makes it so it gives you a 100% indicator of when things are spaced to be plus. Terry, burn knuckle, for example, can be punishable to plus on block depending on the distance of how late it hits and the spacing. So when it's plus on block, the screen shakes to let both people know that it's plus. So I assume they might be doing that to the dive kick because it can be pretty ambiguous sometimes in the heat of the moment. But I don't know. This seems incomplete, these notes here. But reduced pushback on hit or block is also kind of big because that means to me, if she gets a plus on block dive kick, it's easier for her to apply pressure and get a throw also. So this is that's a buff potentially. It's also a nerf if you do a really shitty dive kick. So overall, not much changed, I would say, for Cammy. Maybe this dive kick change is bigger. This is doing a lot of heavy lifting, the ambiguity of these notes. Maybe the dive kick is just really strong now. It's hard to tell. Ryu, please do something about Hashogeki. Just anything. Please. Something. Just make him not be the way he is right now. Please, let me read this. As a character with a high single strike damage potential, Ryu's strength is in waiting for the opponent's opportune moment to unleash powerful attacks. No, it's not. It's the fact that you can constantly mash dumb shit the whole time. And it's like, if trying to stop it is like playing a game of chicken with an oncoming semi-truck. That's his strength. There's no waiting. There is zero. It's the opposite, man. Over past adjustments, we focus on improving that strength. But as we have done so, we've realized that the rewards have started to outweigh the risk. Okay, sorry. Capcom, I spoke too soon. Okay? All right? I should have kept going with the same, it's in the same paragraph, same statement. All right? You're bringing me back in. Okay. This time, our adjustments are about bringing back that balance. You're right. I got to be balanced. I was getting a little, got to be, let's balance it up here. Solar Plexus. This powerful move already enabled you to continue attacking through combos or blocks regardless of distance. However, we improved it to the point that it could potentially stop your opponent from making any attack, putting you at a massive advantage when attacking from a distance. Originally from this distance, we wanted the player to utilize a whirlwind kick or a special move to keep their opponent in check. But given the favorable situation of using Solar Plexus Strike, it was hard to see the benefit of using anything else. So we delayed the activation timing of the block idle hitbox. This way the move stays the same at close distances, but by making it easier for your opponent to retreat when using from afar, we brought in closer and balanced with other zoning techniques. Okay. Nerfing the proximity guard. Thank you. That shit had you glued to the ground from so far away, and you were forced to hold that plus 3 out of nowhere. Now you can potentially play at a favorable spacing, and if they go for the solar plexus and you're holding back, you can walk away, make it whiff, and get a big whiff punish. Okay, got to be a little bit smarter about using that move. Good change. High double strike, the heavy punch, heavy kick. We made 2 major changes to heavy double strike. Like, this is not important. This doesn't matter. I'm already annoyed. Okay, all I see is double strike and this. 2 things that don't matter. I'll read on. We made 2 major changes to heavy double strike. First, we adjusted the blowback, increasing the frame advantage when transitioning into Denjin charge. Second, we changed the timing for the pushback on hit when in the corner. These changes open up the option to use it in a combo when cornering an opponent. You can also now follow up with a medium or overdrive shuriken on a standing hit. Okay, whatever, combos. Whatever, man. Due to only the first active frame being cancelable, we observed many cases where the first frame of Crashing Heavy Punch performed in a response to a counter hit or punish was barely missed. This resulted in either combos not connecting or cases where the second frame hit, but the Ryu player still took a counterattack. We judged that the difficulty of making snap combos decisions on the fly was too high, so we expanded the reach of the first frame during the combo. There better be some hidden nerfs in here. Like, they keep burying the lead on some of these, like the fact that Jamie got all these buffs that they didn't mention. Let's keep going. Standing medium punch. Recovery on whiff changed from 11 to 13 frames. Okay. Adjusted the hurt box to remain on the arms and body until the end of the whiff recovery. Okay. I don't feel like that move was the problem, but sure, I'll take extended hurt boxes any day. Crouching heavy punch, added a new hitbox. Okay, whatever. Solar plexus. Activation timing for the standby block hitbox changed from the 3rd to the 17th frame. 14 frames to moonwalk out of that fucking range with that big-ass dumb fucking move. And then that's going to be a heavy with a big... Please, I don't even know what the hurtbox is like on that move. I can't remember the last time this move whiffed. I hope I'm not disappointed and I realize they never had a hurtbox to begin. Does anyone actually know if Solar Plexus has a hurtbox? I don't think I've ever seen this whiff, to be quite honest. So it's been a while. It's been quite some time. So I'm assuming there's going to be a juicy hurtbox there for a massive punish. So that, yes, thank you, Capcom. The heavy punch, heavy kick change. I guess you get a better combo game from it. New combos for Ryu players. Have fun with that. And light Hashogeki. Hold on. Light Hashogeki. Drive gauge reduction on block change from negative 4,000 to negative 2,000. Increased pushback on block during burnout. Okay, I'm not going to get too hype. Okay. I got a little excited that once again, I thought maybe they're bearing the lead here. This, yes, his drive gauge damage did need to be reduced. But doing this on the light Hashogeki, the one that's already -3, is like, that's meaningful. They cut that in half. Yes, he had too much drive gauge chip damage. Increased pushback on block during the burnout. This, to me, seems like a cop-out. They made the change, was it season 2 or 3? I forget by now, where they made Hashogeki -3 on block so that it was safe on block and also plus and burnout, which made this a nightmare. But the nightmare is not just because it being plus on block and burnout. Now, increased pushback on block during burnout means that he, depending on how much pushback there is, maybe he can't get a clean light after. I don't know. But the problem is, when not in burnout, if you try to challenge his strings, which end in negative frames, and he goes for the light Hashogeki to frame trap you, if he counter hits you, he gets a full fucking drive rush conversion off of that. Massive damage. And then if he does a string where it whiffs and you attempt to do a perfect parry, it has no recovery on whiff, and he can easily get a throw on you or interrupt your parry drive rush OS. And even if you see it whiff and you try to punish it, he just does jab into another light Hashogeki, and by the time you recognize the situation, you probably got counter hit by his follow-up button into another Hashogeki. It's too spammable. It's too degenerate. This is a cop-out, I think, to solve the problem of, yeah, we wanted it to be like an option to frame trap people when not in burnout, but then in burnout it was way too much. Yeah, that was too much, but I think its problems expand beyond that. I think it just needs recovery on whiff. Something. One of those properties has to go. It shouldn't frame trap people on whiff. If it's going to launch combo and counter hit, make it have some kind of risk on block or risk on whiff. Something. Like, give it something. So that's I'm disappointed in that. Overall, this is a step in the right direction, I think, and they gave, they threw a bone to Ryu players to give them something new to play with, which I think is always appreciated. But I wish they would go a little bit further on addressing the spammable things. But overall, I'm happy with this nerf, happy with extended hurt boxes and more whiff recovery on anything. This is a appreciated change. This should make Ryu a little bit less obnoxious to fight for sure. So overall, it's in the right direction. I just wish it was a little bit more. That's all. Honda. Did they give Honda the Lily treatment? We have adjusted E-Honda's normal Sumo Spirit 100-hand slap to make them easier to execute. Oh my god. See how lowly Capcom thinks of you Honda players? This character wasn't easy enough We saw you guys were struggling. Don't worry. Don't worry. We made it easier. These changes were mainly geared toward the Sumo Spirit 100-hand slap. It will now lead into the final attack even on block, and the advantage on block and drive gauge reduction are more favorable compared to the normal version. No way. They're making the Sumo hand slap plus? What are they doing? What are they doing? The overdrive version in particular can result in frame advantage on block? No! Are you kidding me? Oh, Kafka, why? The medium version can now link from light attacks into a combo, and the combo damage has been raised. We also fixed an issue where follow-up attacks fail to connect even after using a stock when linking from a long-range light attack into a light 100-hand slap with the Sumo Spirit active. Since there are more opportunities to land medium 100-hand slap, the pushback on hit has increased slightly only for the final attack, but its overall usability has improved significantly. Wow. Okay, so they reduced startup on medium hands when, in general, expanded the combo only hitbox forward. Yeah. So reduced startup for heavy 100-hand slaps as well. And let's see this. Will now transition to the final attack on block just as it would on hits. Advantage on block improved by 4 frames compared to the normal version. Light is now 0 on block. Medium and heavy, -4. OD +1. Drive gauge reduction on block changed by 3,000. Okay, so at least they reduced the drive gauge chip to compensate for that. I mean, look, it has to be OD for him to get a plus. He has to spend the stock and have OD. Whatever, man. Oh, it's increased? Fuck. It's not the end of the world. I think this will give Honda players more fun. This does make Honda definitely more, even more noob friendly in a funny way. But I also think it gives higher level Honda players more tools to play with. I could see this being a good change. The fact that they limited the actual plus frames to OD and being boosted, like I can live with that. But for sure, for like beginner players, get your sumo charge going, go crazy, do Honda hands. It's not the end of the world. Did Meta RD survive the patch? We're on to Blanka. By the way, thank you, TKO Neptune Aries, for the big 106. Woo, the real OG&D. Appreciate it, man. Lamb FGC with the 50. Thank you very much. Neon was good, man. Thanks for the 41. EXE Van Jones with the 13. Now 2-1 with the big tier 1. Thanks, everybody, for the subs. Appreciate it. Blanka's attacks that are often chained with the Super R2 Lightning Beast while a Blanka Chan bomb is out have had their strength reduced. For other changes, his pokes that were a bit risky but have long reach were hard to make use of at mid-range have been buffed. So his pokes should have more interesting uses. I feel like his pokes were pretty good. The chain of hits from a Blanka Chan bomb in the corner were very difficult for the opponent to deal with, and we thought it was hard to utilize the defensive tools available to find a way out. Added a series of attacks from Super Art 2, and you had a situation that was too favorable for Blanka, where it's easy to burn out the opponent on block, combo, and hit, and also get excellent options to continue pressure when knocking down the opponent. Blanka has also has a lot of moves that switch sides with the opponent. So even when you push him out to the corner, if you slip up on your offense, he can switch sides, start his own corner pressure, and turn the tables in an instant. We saw many situations that should have been advantageous to the opponent end up not being the case. We saw you, Meta RD. We saw what you did to Kakadu. One too many times. We saw what you did to Ryokichi. All right? Okay? Us here in Capcom in Japan, we saw our boys there in the EVO Grand Finals. We saw what you did. We saw it. We reduced his strengths with the aim of alleviating situations with high return and little counterplay, as well as limiting the deterring effect of moves that can cause the opponent on offense to hesitate. Blanka-chan bomb. Considering the amount of situations a player can utilize during the hits of a Blanka-chan bomb in the corner, the way it limits the effectiveness of invincible moves and drive reversals and the return on hit, we have made it so that the bomb will lose its hitbox if Blanka is hit by an attack while the bomb is active. That's pretty big. Okay. So, Blanka can set up the Blanka-chan, which gives him coverage. You try to attack him. Blanka-chan saves him. He gets a full combo. That also gave him basically a safe wake-up super. If he did wake-up level 1 on the Blanka-chan, you try to punish him. The Blanka-chan would interrupt your punish and hit you. So that nerfs a lot of aspects of the layers of Blanka-chan. That's a pretty big nerf. I don't know if it can still trade if you hit at the same time and mess things up, but depending on how that plays out, that's going to severely cut into the layers of how Blanka-chan setups operate. Surprise forward hop. Taking into consideration how a canceling into this from a normal move could easily turn the tide in Blanka's favor, we've removed the throw invincibility. So now it should be easier for an opponent to counter with a normal throw. Really? That's pretty big. I literally saw a couple setups from NRD in the group stages of him hopping through people to purposely bait out throw whiffs. Wow, has his forward hop ever not been throw invincible? I can't recall. I wonder if it can still whiff just based on timing of the hitbox interactions, but I can foresee interactions where Blanka is almost passed through into the other side and someone's in a grab and they just throw him out of it. There will still be cases where, with good timing, Blanka can avoid the opponent's throw and switch sides, but okay, they just clarified here. But the timing window and distances where the opponent can connect with a normal throw have improved, so it's not as easy to use as an escape tool. Honestly, I'm okay with that. Standing medium kick. Due to the knockback time increasing, you can now combo into wild lift on counter hit. The pushback on hit has also decreased, so overdrive backstep rolling attack will now be easier to combo into. Okay, so they gave better regular combos. Wild nail. The advantage on, I don't know what this is. The advantage on hit has increased, so it's now easier to continue pressure after knocking down an opponent. Hitting with the latter part of the move will allow you to close in with a surprise forward hop and still have frame advantage. And canceling into coward crouch surprise forward hop is even more advantageous. Wild nail is 6 HP. The flop. The big flop? Okay. Stand MK, they buffed the advantage on hit and reduced hit back. Okay. So pushback on hit is reduced. So better combos with standing medium kick. What is Blanka's plus on block button? It's back medium kick? Yeah. What is it called? I'm looking at FAT. I have the move names out instead of the directions. Okay, Wild Edge. Okay. Crouching Heavy Punch, a counter hit will now result in a knockdown instead of a knockback on grounded opponents. Remove throw invincibility on forward hop. Rolling attacks following normal lightning beasts. So the charge. Decrease drive gauge reduction on block for light and medium versions from 7,500 to 4,000. Decreased drive gauge reduction on block for the heavies version from negative 10,000 to negative 6,000. Okay, pretty decent nerfs to the drive gauge chip damage. Blanka Chan Bomb. Blanka Chan dolls will lose their hitbox if Blanka is hit after activating it. Yeah, pretty much a lot of L's for Blanka here. I still think he'll be good, but this definitely tones down some of the more egregious aspects of the character. But Blanka is definitely getting nerfed. This is definitely decent nerf to Blanka. All right. Guile. Several adjustments were made to techniques Guile can use at long and short distances. The goal was to increase the range of Guile's movements without sacrificing his simplicity and ease of use. Crouching Heavy Punch. The first frame of the attack can now be canceled, allowing it to be incorporated into combos and attack sequences. It can be a simple yet powerful combo piece by chaining to moves like Somersault Kick and Sonic Boom. Huh. Crouching Heavy Punch. Cancelable. Is that like a... What does that do on Punish Counter? Does that launch or anything interesting on Punish Counter? That's... it's kind of out of left field. I don't know what that will change about his combo routing. Launches on Punish Counter? Yeah, I wonder what that will do. I'm not versed enough in Guile to theory craft here. Drake Fang, down plus medium kick, forward medium punch. Yeah, his crouching medium kick to the overhead target combo. When first hit lands his counter punish counter, the effect of the second hit was changed to allow for follow-up attacks. It will now be easier to perform quick counterattacks even when crouching medium kick is countered or somersault kick isn't fully charged. So I think this is the same change as Manon. If you punish counter with the first hit or counter hit with the first hit, the frame advantage state applies to the second hit, meaning that if you whiff punish with the crouching medium kick into the overhead, you can get a combo follow-up. So that makes the whiff punish game for meterless combos with this stronger. Overdrive Sonic Blade. This move's attack speed will now be determined by the punch input strength. This adjustment provides many uses, such as inputting light plus medium in front of your opponent to restrict their movement, or inputting medium plus heavy to cancel projectiles and close the gap. Okay, variable speeds to the Sonic Blade. However, since the light plus medium version excels at immobilizing opponents, it was too overpowering when used against certain characters who lack projectile attack deterrence. To that end, projectile invincibility was added to parts of the crouching light kick hurt box for those characters. If they react quickly enough, they can attack Guile as soon as the Guile begins to move. Oh, okay, I saw these. I didn't really pay attention to that. I think Manon had this change. Crouching light kick has projectile invincibility. That's specifically to shut down the buffs to help counter Sonic Blade. So if Guile activates Sonic Blade in front of you, you can crouching light kick to go through it and hit him low. It's going low is generally the way to counter Sonic Blade. So crouching heavy punch can now be canceled on first active frame. Super art gauge increase on hit has changed from 500 to 1200 on spinning back knuckle. Okay, more meter build. Better combos out of the crouching MK to medium punch overhead combo target combo. Sonic Blade changes. Okay. They made a specific change to collide with Sagat's Tiger Shot. Okay. Interesting. Minor buffs to Guile. I think the change of the whiff punish and the counter hit for his crouching medium hit target combo is actually going to help his combo game, help him conserve resources, and maybe the Sonic Blade changes will help him be more versatile in trapping people with projectiles. Minor buffs. Wait, did I miss a ground bounce? When hitting as a counter punish counter, the effect is changed from a knockback to a ground bound. Oh! Oh, you're for sure going to get a combo. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely going to improve his combo game, especially with smaller meterless hits. All right, Ken. Ken was one of the most nerfed characters in the previous season compared to where he was before. For Ken this time around, we really wanted to strengthen his pokes and expand on his combos and multi-hit attacks. We feel that all the adjustments come together nicely to further show off Ken's strength as a fighter. Crouching heavy punch, multi-hit attacks at close range have been made easier to use through changes to drive gauge reduction and advantage on block. Canceling into a heavy Jinrai kick no longer guarantees drive impact and Jinrai kicks. Really? Canceling into a heavy Jinrai kick no longer guarantees a drive impact and Jinrai kick. Forward step kick can no longer be interrupted by moves other than invincible attacks. They're buffing his Jinrai? You can't counter this with DI now? Usually a specific read you would have would be, oh, they're going to do heavy punch into heavy Jinrai kick. So I'm going to go for DI here as a read. Oh, it's only from crushing heavy punch. Okay, if it's specifically from that, that's fine. If it's not from stand heavy punch, then it's fine. All right, you have better options from specific routes for better block strings. That's okay. Normal Kaze Kama Shin kick. Forward plus light kick during Jinrai kick. This is the low ender. We previously changed the effect on counter hit to a knockdown, but we felt this lowered its appeal as a way to keep your opponents in check. To counteract this, we up the damage and improve the return on hit, so it's still a knockdown. Forward heavy kick during an overdrive Jinrai kick. By increasing the active frames, we made it easier to hit hype opponents during mid-air combo. Okay, so you can do this in combos better. We've increased, for level 2, we've increased the damage on counter and punish counter, while damage is not generally increased on counter or punish counter for super arts. Given that this move has no invincibility frames and cannot be used forward to interrupt, we wanted to utilize its faster start but give some utility as a counterattack. That's random. So they're trying to incentivize you to use the level 2 as a whiff punish tool, like on a reaction, because it has no invincibility, and it's also pretty much safe on block from the previous patch. So they're like, hey, like use this to reaction whiff punish things, and you'll be rewarded with more damage. That kind of breaks the normal system, because normally, yeah, you don't change the damage for supers on counter or punish counter, but this one it's breaking that convention. It's basically not a super. So that's pretty interesting. Standing medium kick, removed initial scaling of 20%, can now be canceled into super art? Oh, shit. Okay, hit confirm stand MK to super art. I wonder how late the cancel window is. But that medium kick goes mad far. So that's going to be hit confirm to super art. Crush heavy punch. Advantage on block change from -10 to -7 for better block strings. And increase the drive gauge ship damage. They buff the damage of low Jinrai Ender from 500 to 600. Knockdown time on counter or punish counter increased by 4 frames, so better Oki, I suppose. Change to prevent backwards recovery from being performed during a counter or punish counter. Whoa. Okay. Doesn't that eliminate the nerf of leaving you standing for an immediate strike throw mix? I guess you got the option to do like wake up drive reversal, but if you can't back roll, then you're stuck close to them. They can go for throws. So that's actually that's a big deal, actually. So the pressure after this knockdown is going to be very strong. Yeah, it's a hard knockdown if they get a counter or punish counter on it. And side swap, if you get enough frame advantage, sure, yeah, 4 frames more frame advantage, maybe a side swap. Yeah, that's actually pretty big, man. That's actually big. You get good Oki now if you get counter hit by the low Jinrai. I don't know if that's better or worse than what it was before. They just changed it. Okay. Ken buffed. Chun-Li. For Chun-Li, our adjustments were primarily focused on 2 attacks performed during Serenity Stream as well as Light Hazanshu. We made each move easier to use and strengthened their usage in the neutral game. Snake Strike. Of course, we'll go back. Medium Punch. The startup time for Snake Strike is faster. Sorry, quarter circle back P into Medium Punch, the slide move. They made Snake Strike faster, making it possible to combo into from normal hit, like standing heavy punch or a crashing medium punch. We've also changed the blowback effect, making it easier to land the first hit against an opponent off a poke. Wait, is this her slide? This is Serenity into medium punch. Which move is this? That's the slide? How many hits did the slide have? Making it easier to land the first hit against an opponent off of a poke. The wording here makes it sound like there's multiple hits. Threw me off. Forward strike, Serenity into light kick. We've extended the reach to make it easier to land a crouching medium kick or a swift thrust on a punish counter. In fact, swift thrust should always connect after a punish counter if the hit connects with your opponent's main hurt box. So better combos after this if it punish counters. Light Hazanshu. We've overhauled Light Hazanshu and made it a more viable option in the neutral game by making it harder to be counter-attacked when attacking from the tip. The advantage on block has also been improved, with the hit effect changing to a knockdown. You can apply pressure on your opponents as soon as they stand up. It retains function as quick overhead. It retains function as a quick overhead attack, so you can easily surprise your foes. Finally, we've also adjusted the combo count, so after racking up multiple mid-air hits with Senpu Kick, hit them with a light Hazanshu to finish up your combo in situations where other special moves won't connect. Did they make this overhead plus on block? What are they doing with Hazanshu here? What are they doing here? Light Hazanshu was -9 before. Let's see. Sped up Snake Strike. One more active frame. And then Light Hazanshu, this is the big one. Damage change from 1,000 to 700, so they nerfed the damage. Active frames change from 2 to 3. Reduce recovery by 1 frame, 21 to 20. Advantage on block change from -9 to -5. Okay. Not plus on block or nothing, but -5, if spaced with like a long range overhead like that, can definitely be made safe. So it sounds like something you can harass with. When hitting a standing opponent, the effect is changed from a knockback to a knockdown. So if you're standing, you get hit by the overhead for some reason, you get knocked down. When hitting an airborne opponent, effect has changed from a knockdown to a ground bound. So you're going to get a juggle there off the ground bound. Increased pushback on block. Yes, so they pair the reduced or improved frame advantage with the increased pushback to make it even more safe. A -5 with pushback might not be punishable at all. Reduced forward movement. Okay, maybe it went too far forward before, so it would be harder to space. Projectile invincibility has been removed. Increased combo limit. So Light Hazanshu is now no longer anti-projectile or anything of that sort. It's meant as a sort of surprise harassment tool to be spaced with. You can use it for combo juggles, and it can potentially lead, if it hits on a counter hit or airborne, can potentially lead into combos on its own. So you kind of throw it out as a surprise hit. So, interesting. They nerfed Luke. Fuck this game. Brother, what? They definitely did not nerf Luke. Relax. Jesus. God damn. It'll be okay. Listen, Luke Bros, and whoever you are, there hasn't even been that crazy. No one's gotten nerfed besides Blanka, really. And Blanka Bros, you'll be okay too. So far, I've gotten through more than half, right? No one's really been nerfed. But I guess the second half is where a lot of the prime suspects are. It doesn't ground bounce, it just ends the juggle and knocks him down immediately. Why does it say ground bound then? What's up, Zach? Interesting. Okay. Zangief's adjustments are almost entirely focused on his overdrive double lariat. Why do I got to read all this just to read this? I'm going to go down here first. Okay. Smegma dropkick. Reduce the downward hurt box from the 5th frame to the end of the active frames. Okay, so dropkick has reduced hurt box. Overdrive, double lariat, 3 punches. The knockback time from blocking the second hit has been changed from 17 to 14. Okay. Reduce the pushback on block on the second hit. Expanded the hitbox on the fourth hit downward, making it possible to hit crouching opponents. Pushback on block on the fourth hit increased for opponents in burnout. Is this just to, like, make people block lariat for chip, maybe? Okay, never mind. I'm gonna read their explanation here. I'm confused. Zangief's strength lie in forcing opponents to guard and chipping away at their drive gauge. However, after forcing an opponent into burnout, his moveset left something to be desired. This time, adjustments were made so that the fourth hit of an overdrive double lariat will also hit a crouching opponent, and that during burnout, the first, second, and fourth hits now can't be interrupted. Together with the adjustments made to recovery and knockback on hit, if you utilize horizontal movement well, you can effectively chip away at an opponent's health. While this does leave you open to counterattacks from characters with long-reaching super arts, try to anticipate the health and resources of you and your opponents and aim for the best time to strike. You can chip people with OD Lariat and it's potentially safe? What is this on block if you block all hits? Because no one blocks the final hit of Lariat. Normally you just duck it, so hold on. OD double Lariat. It's negative 11 on block? I've never blocked that move in my life. Okay. It's negative. Normally you just duck the hit and then press DI. Because there's a big gap. If you crouch it, it whiffs. So, but if it's hitting, if you're forced to block that negative 11, that means in burnout, you know, it'll be, what, negative 7? So, am I doing the math right? OD double area, it's negative 11 on block. The last hit is still crouchable. Fourth hit is the one you can't block, so he's negative 13. So it'd be negative 9. How much pushback are they fucking adding to this? In what world is that going to be safe? Yeah, we'll have to see. This sounds hilarious, but if they made it so that you can actually just, like, waltz up on them and just do OD Lariat and chunk away at their health with chip, that might be kind of funny. It's negative 13 in burnout? Then I don't understand. We'll see. This could be a complete bullshit nothing change, and maybe just to close out matches, you do OD double lariat. But if it does significant chip, that'd be kind of funny. Anyways, Geef got nothing. Pretty much nothing. Have fun with another weird-ass, possibly meaningless change. But if he's chunking away your health and burnout and chip damage, that'd be kind of cool. But that seems like an ambitious change. I don't know if it actually will do anything in practice. Dhalsim's main changes are a revision to his follow-up attacks from Overdrive Yoke of Flame and related adjustments to airborne attacks. There are also some adjustments to medium and heavy Yoke of Flame to make them easier to use and increase their strengths as pokes. Okay. All right. So let's see. Jumping Medium Punch. The hit effect during a combo has been changed. You can now cancel into Yoga Mummy and Drill Kick. So now this move is more useful as a mid-air combo piece. Other than as a follow-up to Overdrive Yoga Flame, discussed below, it's handy for ad-libbing combos after a mid-air hit from Yoga Arch to tack on some extra damage during the neutral game. So Jumping Medium Punch, you know, he goes pretty far horizontally, so you can cancel that into the dive kick or the head dive to potentially pick up more combos, especially if it's in like a juggle state. Okay? Add some more sauce to his conversions. Jumping Heavy Punch, Jumping Heavy Kick. The combo count has been adjusted to make these usable as a mid-air combo ender. Depending on the situation, you can go for a good knockdown or knock the opponent far away to make use of Dhalsim's signature reach. Overdrive Yoga Flame. Since the past change that made Yoga Blast better as a combo piece, we observe that situations to use Overdrive Yoga Flame have become slim. So we've added the ability to follow it up with a distinguish it. Added the ability to follow it up to distinguish it from Yoga Blast. Okay? You can follow it up. You can now follow up Overdrive Yoga Flame with Jumping Medium Punch, and mid-screen you can even combo that into Yoga Mummy and Super Art 1. Or in the corner, use Overdrive Yoga Comment, Yoga Floats, Jumping Heavy Punch, giving you completely different combo options from Yoga Blast. Okay, they upped his combo game, which might even increase his damage output by spending some drive gauge on the Overdrive Yoga Flame. Okay. That seems kind of nice for Dhalsim. A little bit more damage out of there. Change the effect on mid-air combo from a blowback to a blowback knockdown. Yeah, so better combos from that. Let's see, anything else? Drive gauge increase change from 2,400 to 3,000. So they actually buffed the Yoga Flame as well to do more drive gauge ship damage. Okay, so better uses for Overdrive Yoga Flame for better combos in conjunction with this changes to the Jump Medium Punch. Yeah, all right. Better combo options for Dhalsim. Rashid. You know, people were saying Rashid fell off. Do you guys believe it? Do you guys believe the Rashid propaganda? I don't know, man. Big Bird did Mena RD pretty dirty in the group stages of Capcom Cup. Dual Kevin did some work. Word on the street was Rashid was kind of low tier these days. We've made several enhancements to Rashid's anti-air attacks, pokes, and combos. Our goal was to improve the usability of his moves in various situations and boost his overall strength. Stand heavy kick. The combo count during a punish counter has been adjusted. It can now chain into techniques like flapping spin. That's really what one of his moves are called, flapping spin. And light eagle spike, adding more opportunities for follow-up attacks. Medium normal spinning mixer. The air attack invincibility timing has been extended from the end of the first hit's active frames to the end of the second hit's active frame, thus increasing its potential as an anti-air technique. Rashid players always crying about the anti-airs. Now, heavy mixer is the main one. Medium mixer is horizontally traveling, so it gives them, an option if they're jumping from further away to try to chase them down. This isn't a buff to like the above their head hitting on both sides anti-air, but that adds a bit more potential for it to be used as an anti-air from further out because people could try to like empty jump on them, for example, to bait out the heavy mixer. Considering Rashid's anti-air attack range and air attack invincibility timing, these adjustments will better allow you to react when facing long-reaching horizontal jumping attacks, exactly, where it's hard to judge whether your move will reach or not. All right, I mean, that's pretty good for Rashid. Nice little solid quality of life there for people looking anti-air, a.k.a. Dual Kevin. Overdrive Whirlwind Shots. So hold with the charged OD Fireball. The attack startup has been accelerated and is now possible to cancel into Wing Stroke Rolling Assault partway through the attack. This change will allow you to close in on your opponent at an advantage during the neutral game. Similar to the Heavy Arabian Cyclone Wing Stroke combo, you'll be able to keep the pressure going from a safe distance. Okay, so he just gets in easier. We've also adjusted the blowback distance when the non-held version hits a standing opponent, and when the held version hits an airborne opponent, making it easier to perform follow-up attacks after landing a hit. So buffing his fireball pickup game. So stand heavy kick, lower the combo count start value when executing a punish counter on the ground. So I guess he might get better juggles from the stand heavy kick from punishing or with punishing with that. The stand heavy kick is the one where he like kicks his head up, he kicks over his head and does like a little handstand cartwheel. That's the heavy kick, right? So it sounds like that's pretty often used for footsie whiff punishing. So he might get better damage on his whiff punishes. Medium spinning mixer. Change air attack invincibility timing from frames 6 to 10 to frames 6 to 14. 4 more active frames of air invincibility. So that's pretty good. And then they sped up the OD charge whirlwind shot by 3 frames. You can cancel into wing stroke. So the roll option enters out of it at frame 54. And better pickups if it hits out of the air. Okay. A little bit better options for Rashid to get in, and better anti-airs and better whiff punish tools or conversions. Slight solid buffs for Rashid. I think if you're a Rashid player, you're left okay. Maybe a little peckish for more, but okay. Aki. What did Aki get? Is Aki gonna walk away from this patch feeling cool? Let's see. We improved the benefits of Aki's signature toxic blossom mechanic. Now, triggering the Toxic Blossom will recover more drive gauge than before, letting you recover your resources to enact more of her poisonous plans. You can rebuild your drive gauge? Wait. If you're comboing someone with the poison applied, spending drive gauge to perform the combos, you're going to build back drive gauge during your combos? That's actually kind of big. Not if you spend drive. Okay, let me read. Sure. I thought she was going to break the rules of the drive meter meta. Let's see. To let the change really shine, we also made some adjustments to make it easier to trigger Toxic Blossom when the opponent isn't already poisoned. All Toxic Blossom effects. Triggering Toxic Blossom will now recover some of A.K.I's drive gauge, and efficient use of it should give you more opportunities to add damage through use of said gauge. Along with this, there are now more chances to trigger Toxic Blossom when the opponent is not already poisoned, but be careful as this benefit still does not apply when a drive rush is used in a combo. Okay. I thought you were going to be able to drive rush cancel, pop poison, build some more drive gauge, and get another drive rush cancel. That would have been fucking absurd. This is still a very interesting change because this changes all of her routing potentially, or a lot of her routing will be influenced by this. A.K.I is a very combo route heavy character. A big part of the character is optimizing these combo routes. Capcom just said, here, damn, go optimize more. So that's kind of interesting. Standing Light Punch and Hundun. Light Punch, Light Punch. We made Crouching Light Punch and Kick able to rapid cancel into Standing Light Punch, adding more depth and stability to her close range combos. Since Hundun... Who... Has anyone ever called her Light Punch target combo Hundun? Capcom is making shit up. I swear to God, they made up this name during these patch notes. I swear to God. This was not called this before. Jammers, we got to get Jammers on the phone. We got to get the version history. They did not call this Hundun before this patch. They made it up. We made Crouching Light Punch and Kick able to rapid cancel into Standing Light Punch, adding more depth and stability to her close range combo. Since Hundun moves you forward, you no longer have to suffer a whiffed heavy Serpent Lash when trying to combo into it from the tip of a light attack. That's big, yeah. Like, imagine the previous routing. Crouching Light Kick, Crouching Light Punch into Heavy Whip, and then it just whiffs. That definitely happens to A.K.I players. So now they're saying you can just always stabilize your conversions by chaining from any of your starter lights into the Standing Light Punch target combo. That's a big change. That's actually a massive quality of life feature that not many characters would have, right? A lot of characters have to kind of suffer that. So that is a pretty unique advantage. Seems like she's going to have really stable conversions. From one of the more finicky characters for light conversions to the arguably maybe the best. So that's actually really big. And that target combo, yeah, her frame, having that as a frame trap and able to chain cancel on block is also really strong because she's also one of the best characters for going into block strings into her light poison, because the light poison, the bubble, is just safe on block and it all frame traps. So she can just keep chaining. Yeah, she's going to have pretty spammable light pressure and easy conversions. That's actually a big change to her block string pressure and her conversions. Overdrive Nightshade Pulse. Quarter circle back, 2 punches. So that's the OD Fireball. You can now follow up with Medium Serpent Lash and other attacks when the opponent fails to jump over the projectile and lands on it. So that means you can pick up with Medium Serpent Lash and pop the poison, probably get better juggle combos. The attack range on Medium Serpent Lashes make it easy to hit without having to use Drive Rush to close the distance, allowing you to follow up with other attacks while receiving additional drive gauge from triggering Toxic Blossom. Yeah, they're describing how these buffs synergize together. So when they say Drive Rush, they didn't specify Drive Rush cancel. I guess they also mean raw Drive Rush or anything of that nature. So Toxic Blossom drive gauge increased by 2,000. So a bar we said was 10,000. So this is only 2,000. So you get 1/5 of a bar back, which is not nothing. That could be the difference maker in a lot of situations between having an OD move, having a driver's cancel or not. It's not nothing. It's definitely something. And then Huang Chi, heavy punch, Nightshade Chaser, changed from 3,000 to 5,000. What, the drive gauge increase? So I guess these are all the different ways when you trigger Toxic Blossom, the drive gauge increases. So, you basically any of these moves that activate the Toxic Blossom have increased drive gauge. So let's see. Heavy Serpent Lash from 2,500 to 4,500. That's like almost half a bar. Overdrive Serpent Lash changed from 0 to 2,000. You get drive gauge refunded for doing OD Serpent Lash in a combo that triggers Toxic Blossom. However, if a drive rush is used during a combo and Toxic Blossom is triggered, drive gauge recovery does not occur as usual. Very interesting. That's going to really take time to iron out how that impacts your game, but that gives a lot of, a lot of things for Aki players to play with. Yeah, and then also chains into the stand light punch. A lot of buffs for Aki. This is a big buff to her stable gameplay with lights and her combo routing. No buffs to anti-airs, which is, I know, something Broski and other Aki players are talking about. That's one of her fundamental weaknesses. I think they kind of want her to be a little bit more difficult in the anti-air department because the reward she can get potentially with Toxic Blossom and everything is really high. And I think they gave you enough compensatory buffs to let you have fun exploring the new mechanics. So, fun changes for Aki, I think. Ed. Did Ed survive the balance patch? Ed has been terrorizing Japan for quite some time. They keep trying to shoot him and put him down, but he always comes right back up. They might have to double tap him this time. Let's see what they did. Ed can expect good returns off his far-reaching normal moves, so we reviewed the risk associated with these. We particularly looked at crouching, medium, and heavy kick, which should now have the appropriate amount of risk for their ease of use and recovery on whiff. We also adjusted some mid-combo damage scaling to help normalize the return he receives. Crouching medium kick. The recovery on whiff has been increased, the hurt box has been expanded, and hitboxes have been adjusted so that low profile and crouching attacks should be more difficult to catch with this move. Oh, so you can duck underneath it a little bit. Now, this shouldn't win out as much when clashing with the opponent's crouching moves, so the use of this move has changed drastically. Drastically, they said. Okay? That move is extremely powerful, far-reaching move. You know, he kind of aims upward at a diagonal angle with that flicker move. Crouching heavy kick, godlike button, and low smash combination, the target combo he has from it. The hitbox and startup have been adjusted in consideration of the returns this move offers. It should now be easier to punish on whiff now that the standby block hitbox has been adjusted, and should be altogether more risky due to the extended recovery and hurtbox. Okay. So they reduced the proximity guard and extended the recovery and hurtbox. Perfect. Make it less spammable. Yeah, that move was definitely something you could fish for and get massive returns if it connected. In addition to the above changes, the recovery at close range has worsened, so it's less easy to use. In exchange, following up with low smash combination on hit will now let you cancel to kill rush, increasing its use as a counter poke by giving you a combo without having to spend resources. Okay. So the target combo into the heavy punch, usually you just use that for a meterless knockdown or cancel to level 2. But now it also will let you combo to kill rush. So if you are more careful and skillful about placing your crouching heavy kick, you can get more return. Crouching light punch, projectile invincibility. Okay, this is the change for some crouching moves to better deal with Guile's Sonic Blade. Crouching medium kick. Recovery when the attack misses changed from 17 to 19 frames, 2 frames of recovery added. Reduce the rear attack hitbox that hits crouching opponents, reducing its horizontal reach against characters that are in a low profile position. Okay, so weaker against crouchers. The front hurtbox that disappears on the 26th frame of this technique now lasts until the end of the move. Massive, massive extended hurtbox on this. Okay. Crouching heavy kick. Change recovery from 17 to 19 frames. These were both 17 frame recoveries. And an additional 2 frames of recovery added when the attack misses. So what is the recovery on whiff? So it's 21 frames of recovery on whiff? Why are you making me do math here? Advantage on hit changed from +1 to -1 frame. Okay. At disadvantage on block change from -4 to -6. Yeah, I don't know why this move was never ever not -6. This should be very easy to punish on block. You should be forced to cancel it. Standby block hitbox timing change from the 6th frame of the technique to the 9th frame. This one didn't have the most egregious proximity guard, but it definitely had it, so now you can more easily walk out of range and make it whiff. Psycho Flicker. Combo scaling changed from 15% to 20%, so they nerfed his damage. Usually comboing into Overdrive Psycho Flicker was like the optimal way to combo. Get straight into the OD moves with OD Psycho Flicker. That might decently nerf his damage. Super Art 2. How many times do they have to nerf this? No matter how many times they nerf it, they get better and better with the Shin Dream combos. After this attack hits, and upon performing a follow-up attack, Ed's Super Art gauge increased change from 80% to 50% until the combo ends. Okay, so they nerfed the Super Art gauge increase. They still haven't disabled it, but it's 50% now. People were still getting 2 Super Arts around. That was still happening, so just more nerfs to building the Super Art during the Dream combos, essentially. How about 0%? They could, but they're not going that far. Overall, they didn't nerf Flicker in any sense in how it interacts. They just basically made bad Ed players worse by adding more risk to spammable normals. They made it so that his combo scaling does less damage. He needs a few more interactions potentially to win, and nerfed his ability to get repeated Super Art 2s. This is a nerf to Ed, but honestly, he's still going to be top tier. He's still going to be top tier for sure. This will at least make him even more of a specialist character, but he already kind of was. So I predict him still to be very good. Still very, very good. This is not nerfing his fundamental design of having great range and the entire move of Psycho Flicker, how it operates. So Ed, I predict still top tier. Akuma. Akuma's biggest 2 changes are an increase in power to the fully held version of Go Hadoken, as it wasn't seeing much use. And the Overdrive Adamant Flame no longer combos from Crouching Medium Kick. While he'll no longer be able to get big returns from throwing out random low attacks, he's added other changes to give him more tools to use in the neutral game. That's big. Fishing with Crouching Medium Kick into OD Adamant Flame was huge, because that only costs 2 bars of drive gauge. It's the difference between having to commit to a drive rush cancel, which costs 3 bars of drive gauge, versus 2, and also like pause your drive meter rebuild. Because this was like safe on block, you would just do it, and the OD Adamant Flame was like a super strong combo starter as well to get the party started. So that was a very safe way to fish for huge damage. TNS! What's going on, TNS? Thanks for the big raid. Is Tong out there? What game's on Monday? I always forget. Thanks, TNS. Appreciate the big raid. What's going on, everybody? We are currently going through the Street Fighter 6 patch notes, the long-awaited patch that comes out with Alex. We just got the patch. We've gone through every character, the universal changes in every character. We're going in order so far. We're currently on Akuma. Have a few more to go. Strive. Shout-outs to all the Strive players and fans out there. Hopefully it was a good tournament. I think a lot of the games are getting patches right now. Strive's waiting on 2.0. And the Arc Tour Finals, I know. Did Idom win? No. He didn't lose. We didn't win. We're at Akuma right now. So we're going to be, trucking through these patch notes here. All right. Crouching Heavy Punch. The knockback time has increased, so on Punish Counter or Drive Rush, this will now combo into a fully held Overdrive Go Hadoken from Crouching Heavy Punch on Punish Counter or Drive Rush. Okay. That's interesting. So a drive rush crouching heavy punch, you can drive rush cancel into crouch heavy and get a fully charged overdrive go Hadouken. I don't know what that means for any combo routing. That might be nothing. Adam got 4th in Strive. Oh, he did? Oh, yeah, I forgot he played that game. I don't know if this means anything. That's pretty interesting. There might be more optimal combo conversions for that. Who knows? Maybe an Akuma player can know. Maybe to level 1. Yeah, maybe an easier route to level 1. Normal overdrive, go Hadouken fully held. The time it took for the fully held version to come out made it very hard to use. We've increased the number of hits and reduced the recovery. Increased the number of hits and reduced the recovery, leaving you at a much larger advantage. So if you manage to get it off, you can still set yourself up with a very good situation. Wow. It was already pretty good for a meaty. I don't know, man. I don't feel like the charge fireball was useless. Use that for projectile meaties for plus frames. And safe to level 1. The overdrive version, which charges up faster, is now easier to use, and it leaves you at an advantage even without charging it up. This should discourage your opponents from trying to stop you from using the fully held version when canceling into it from a normal move on block. He just gets plus frames? Will this patch appear in the next episode of Trash Talk? What up, Idom? No spoilers. He just does OD Fireball and gets plus frames now? Medium Tatsu, since there are now more situations where the first hit will hit high up, such as after a fully held go Hadouken, we've extended the active frames of the second hit to prevent it from whiffing. So, like, okay, charge Fireball into Medium Tatsu, crouching medium kick, yeah, it doesn't combo to OD, Adamant Fist. Since Overdrive Adamant Fist cannot be punished on block and leads into big damage at the corner, being able to combo into it from a far-reaching low attack like crouching medium kick was an extremely powerful option. Yeah, so they reined it in. Okay. Stand medium punch, that says plus on block button. Change recovery on whiff from 11 to 13. Okay, but you're not like whiffing that, or you shouldn't be. That already has very short range. It's only used for plus frames up close, so that doesn't mean much. Okay, don't whiff it. You shouldn't have whiffed it anyways. Crouch heavy punch. Okay, not much there. Crouching medium kick. Change advantage on hit from +1 to 0 to reduce the cancel options. Okay, so basically changes to the fireball for charging it. Increased damage from 1200 to 1350. Total recovery time reduced by 7 frames. For the longest held version only. Changing the normal version from 84 to 77 and the OD from 59 to 52. Advantage on block change from +5 to +20. Holy shit. What? What? They made up a number there. Increase the number of hits from 3 to 4. Does that have any meaningful impact? It's already 3 hits, so it already breaks DI. I don't know what fireball clashes don't matter as much in this game, but I guess maybe for, I don't know, when would that matter? Guile OD Blade? It would only matter for OD versus OD, right? It beats OD Tiger Shot. Yeah, I guess maybe charge OD Fireball versus like OD Tiger Shot and OD Sonic Blade. Increased drive gauge consumption on block from -3000 to -4000 is almost half a bar drive gauge on block. Drive gauge consumption for the normal version increased from 1000 to 5000. Wow. Okay, so plus as fuck fireballs if you charge it. More juggle time? Yeah, that too. I don't know if this is going to be used in neutral that much, but very interesting. So they nerfed his free combo from crouching MK to OD Adamant Fist and gave him a crazy charge fireball. Okay, I don't really think that matters that much. I feel like he's overall probably still nerfed, but okay. M. Bison. We have improved M. Bison's Psycho Mind Planting Back Fist combo and Super Art Level 2 and reassess his movement speed during Devil's Reverse. What did you do? Psycho Mind back fist combo. Advantage on block changed from +6 to +9. So they gave him more plus frames on popping the Psycho Mind. Psycho Mind back fist combo medium. Reduce horizontal blowback when attack hits and increase blowback time. Better combos. Devil's Reverse. Reduce forward movement distance for pressing forward when activated in front of your opponent. So harder to cross up. Super Art 2. Reduce attack startup from 26 to 24 frames. Increase backward movement distance when pressing inputs after activating the move. Expanded the combo only hitbox upward. So it's easier to land Super Art 2 now. So normal Devil's Reverse. When used to attack from a distance or cause opponents to whiff anti-attacks by landing behind them, its large effective range made it difficult to react to or counter, so its forward movement distance has been reduced slightly. Okay. That makes sense. So it's a little bit less effective at juking anti-airs. I don't know. They nerfed Devil's Reverse slightly and buffed back fists. Pretty much nothing. No changes to things like scissor kick, punish counter, drive rush scissors. None of that. He's still going to be the same Bison. So kind of a nothing burger change in my opinion. Bison is still doing Bison things. Terry, they had been buffing patch after patch after patch. He was pretty mediocre upon release, but like 3 patches later, he was a beast. Arguably top 5, definitely one of the best characters in the game. For Terry, we've improved the usability of Round Wave and Overdrive Power Charge and reduced the possibility of Super Arts not connecting in a combo in certain situations. While some moves have seen improvements, the pushback on block during burnout has been increased when using Light Crack Shoot. Okay, so they nerfed his burnout loop. This should help deter players from spamming normal move into Light Crack Shoot. Overdrive Power Charge. So this is his tackle. Like the heavy version of Power Charge, you can now cancel into other special moves. This makes it handy for cornering opponents and also for follow-up attacks. Interesting. Okay. I feel like his overdrive tackle was pretty specific to use. It allowed you to have some more optimal conversions mid-screen because it causes a wall bounce, right? So if you were too close to the corner, it would wall bounce and just pull them out of the corner, and you were punished for using it. So only in a very specific spacing and meter situation and hit situation would you want to route into this for meter efficiency. So the heavy tackle, which usually requires a heavy punch or a punish counter to route into, that gives you the big damage. And it was always more damage than the OD version because you can cancel out a heavy tackle into things like the round wave to juggle combos or to crack shoot. So it sounds like this means that you might be able to more easily get into high damage because you can combo into the OD tackle from mediums without punish counter. You can confirm into it. So maybe you can get bigger damage from smaller openings now. Buster Wolf. Both the player and the opponent are now invincible during hit stop on the first hit. Both the player and the opponent are now invincible during hit stop on the first hit. What? This mitigates situations where, for example, Buster Wolf hits immediately after an overdrive power wave connects in midair, and the opponent is sent flying before the second hit of Buster Wolf connects, causing the move to whiff. I need to see a video of this happening because I've never heard of this. But sure, this sounds like a bug fix. Super Art 3, we've increased the attack startup when canceling from certain moves, mitigating the issue where it failed to connect after quick burn. Hits at low elevation. Okay, quality of life change. Crouching medium punch, recovery on whiff changed from 14 to 15 frames. They always buried the lead here, man. These are the important changes. So the crouching medium punch, very spammable to fish for driver's cancels, more whiff recovery. Crack shoot, so they nerfed the crack shoot burnout loop. Heavy round wave for big plus frames, pushback on hit has been reduced. Oh, so might be easier to combo into things like the heavy tackle for max damage. OD power charge can also go into special moves, right? Okay. Overall, I think he's kept the same. Nerfing the burnout loop can potentially be a pretty big change. Whiff recovery can add up. But the changes to the overdrive tackle can be significant in helping his routing. And maybe the pushback on hit reduce can also give him more reward on this. I would say overall slightly nerfed, but more of a horizontal shift for Terry. So Terry mains, you're still eating good. Okay. What do you got for us? What do you got for us? Let's see. Let's see it. Please have something good for all the good little Street Fighter boys and girls out there who want to play a fun and engaging game. My changes are mainly revisions to her special moves, with the largest being the held and overdrive versions of Kachosin as well as light Rienbu. The knockback time for held and overdrive Kachosin has been decreased on hit and block, so it will now be less effective at locking the opponent down at close range or when approaching behind one with a drive rush. Okay, great. These weaknesses are still somewhat covered by the powered up Super Art Level 1 versions, making landing it more important than before. Great. On the other hand, we don't want these nerfs to Kachosin to make Mai too ineffective at mid-range. So in exchange, we made Light Rienbu more effective as a poke. This helps flesh out the role of each of her special moves and should add more balance to her neutral play. Kachosin, that's the fan fireball. The adjustments to Kachosin affect the fall of the fan after the first hit on both hit and block, which has had the knockback time reduced. This affects viable pressure and combo options after the falling fan, so be sure to check if your go-to options still work. So the hit stun on the second fan, what are they trying to say? The knockback time of the first hit is also changed for the versions not powered up by Super Art Level 1. The first hit at close range will now leave you at -5. So you need to find new ways to use it to extend your pressure, such as using careful spacing. -5. What was this before? That means you can get a guaranteed hit on her. The problem was if it was charged, you would get, punished by the falling fan. So Kachosin. Well, Light Punch Kachosin was -7 before, -9 and -11. Am I reading this wrong? The knockback time of the first hit is also changed for the versions not powered up by Super Art 1. The first hit at close range will now leave you at -5. They mean on hit? Oh, on hit, this was -1, -3, and -5 before. It's hard for me to comprehend this. Let me see. This move now takes away more drive gauge on block and punish counter, the Light Rienbu, and has extended reach as well as some invincibility near her feet. Whoa! So it's going to go over lows, which should make it more useful as a poke. Although the attack's hurtbox has extended with its hitbox, the extended reach makes it harder to whiff and easier to use. This was already kind of used a little bit as a fast poke, but that makes it objectively stronger to use more range and the ability to potentially low crush, go over your crouching medium kicks. Heavy Rienbu, the second airborne hit, now floats higher, so it should be easier to connect with after a standing heavy kick on a punish counter. You can also combo into it from standing light punch while you have Super Art Level 1 stocks. Wow, so light conversions into heavy Rienbu. Yeah, they're making the Super Art Level 1 really powerful relative to what you are without it, which I think it's a good change. Musasabi no Mai. The hitbox during combo has been expanded in the later part of the move. This was done in order to make it easier to combo off of a jumping medium punch from high up without changing the timing for existing combos. What's a Musabi no Mai? What is that? That's her dive punch? Okay.
Bitch, I live in a fucking trash can.
So knockback time and hit block for the falling fan reduced by 5 frames. So what do they mean by knockback time? They mean hit stun? They use weird terminology that I don't follow. I think that means hit stun. Knockback time on hit block, I guess for both. Reduced by 5 frames. So larger gap, basically, whenever, and less advantage whenever you are touched by the fan. Knockback time on the normal version's first attack reduced by 2 frames. Total recovery time on the normal version changed from 62 to 64. Okay, So if they reduce the knockback time by 5 frames on the held version right now, for example, of like, let's see, light punch, Kachosin hold is -1 right now on block. So if they made it, reduce it by 5 frames, then that would be -6. Okay, so if I'm reading this correctly, before if you blocked it, you couldn't put her into a punish counter state, for example. You could take your turn back, but then the fan was there, so it was a risk. This sounds like if you do this charge one up close, then you can get a guaranteed punish, something like a light punch, into an OD move or a super to go into an animation that will dodge either with invincibility or set animation to dodge the follow-up fan. So even if they do this held in your grill, there might be guaranteed counterplay. The problem with this right now is the counterplay that you had before was all still a read. Even if you had like great perfect parry timing or whatever, you'd still have to make a read on what follow-up they're going to do after the fan is hit. If you try to snipe a gap into an invincible move, for example, if they did nothing and blocked, you were going to die. This sounds like there might be more guaranteed counterplay for certain applications of this move. So normal boosted overdrive, this is the overdrive version. Same thing, knockback on time on hit and block reduced by 5 frames. So if I'm reading that correctly, the held version or normal version of OD fans were -3 on block. Does that mean it's -8? So yeah, this might be potentially really a big nerf, actually. Might be a big nerf. So there might be actual counterplay and risk to using these fans. So I think this might be a good change. So Light Ranbu, they buffed it to be a poke. Drive gauge reduction on block change from 2,000 to 4,000. So they buffed how much drive gauge it takes away as well. And you can combo into the heavy Ranbu after you're in level 1 from jabs for stronger routing. Okay. I think this is a good change. If I'm reading this correctly, it sounds like there's going to be actual risks to using the fans. I think this is good. Mai's still going to be strong, of course, but this sounds like it's going to be way less degenerate and maybe a lot easier to deal with things like OD fan drive rush in. She at least cannot do, it sounds like, charging fan in your face and not face any consequences. This nerf, I skipped over it. Forward movement reduced on hit and block for the quarter circle forward kick. Okay, I guess yeah, that's less corner carry. That's her basic light conversion. Jab, 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 quarter circle forward kick. Maybe she gets you to the corner a lot slower. Yeah, I think Mai's nerfed. This is impactful nerf is my impression here, if I'm understanding all these effects correctly. I think you're going to see a lot of counterplay start developing for bad fan usage. So I am a little bit happy with that. I think that's overall, it seems like healthy changes. Elena. Did they nerf modern Elena? We saw what Raihan did, man. Come on now. Emergency balance patch. Can't be letting that happen. Elena's changes have to do with heavy Rhino Horn and her super arts level 1 and 2. There's some improvements to her combos as well as to the held version of super art level 2, which wasn't seeing much use. So they buffed the healing. Heavy Rhino Horn, the smooth slow startup and difficulty hitting crushing opponents made it tricky to use, so we increased the blowback time on hit. With this adjustment, players should be left at a better situation when hitting mid-screen and unleash more effective combos in the corner. Okay, so buffing combo game and Oki. Level 1. Made it invincible. We adjusted overdrive Rhino Horn so that it results in a higher knockback when it connects with a grounded opponent. This makes it easier to combo with, allowing you to continue your offense when it connects, especially when you have your opponent cornered, but be careful. Overdrive Rhino Horn will not always connect off a mid-air hit. Why would you even... It sounds like your patch isn't complete. It's like you buffed it, but then you there's a baked-in inconsistency that you know is going to piss people off. But you put the asterisks in there in the patch notes. Yeah, we buffed the combos after the level 1, but when you do OD DP after, you're going to whiff, spend all your bar, and get punished and die. So don't say we didn't tell you, man. Hey, man, we told you. We told you it might whiff. I feel like that doesn't inspire confidence in your players. So, Super Art 2 held. The amount healed has increased slightly, and now your drive gauge also recovers. Oh, you get a bar that. This is what we were talking about before. There's all this speculation about how the level 2 and healing would work if it would also interact with the drive gauge. That's a big deal. More increased health and drive gauge also recovers. I think that's actually smart. That's the meter meta is by far the most engaging and dynamic part of this game, this whole system. So I think that's a big deal. That's actually a big deal. Now you have far more reasons to go for the healing. The healing was very niche when it was used. You would use it to secure a life lead if your health was pretty low, but generally it barely gave you enough life to make a difference in the next combo conversion. So I think this is smart. This will recover even if you use a drive rush and a combo, or while in burnout, giving you an option to strategize with those increased resources. Yeah, I like it. That's pretty good. Minor changes here, but I think they're good. I really couldn't tell you what else she could use. Some people were talking about her target combos that whiff on crouchers being adjusted, like her crouching medium kick, but I think that's the point of the character. This is very minor, but I like the direction this is going in. They probably could have done something else for her, but I don't know what. It'll pull you out of burnout. That would be insane. My read of this is that it applies 1 bar worth of drive gauge timer reduction. If it pulls you out of burnout and gives you a bar drive gauge, that's insane. That's not how I'm interpreting it. I think this is ambiguous. When you recover drive gauge, that's the same thing in the system mechanics as recovering your drive gauge timer. 1/3 of your burnout bar. Yeah, usually when they're kind of equivalent meters in a sense. Okay, Elena got a little bit, but not much. Sagat. The new top one. The adjustments introduced in our last update achieved much of what we wanted to balance with Sagat, which is why we've only made a couple of tweaks in this one. First, we reduced the pushback on hits for a standing light kick to mitigate an issue in which the furthest hitbox of medium tiger uppercut failed to connect. This adjustment should make medium tiger uppercut connect reliably with the standing light kick lands on the opponent's torso, but not always when it hits an outstretched arm or leg. Okay. Second, given its reach and resulting combo damage, we have also increased the recovery on whiff versus crouching medium punch. Yeah, that's good. It's definitely a little bit too spammable, but that's crazy they did nothing else. That's a little crazy. Sagat's a little juiced, man. But I'm down for this change, absolutely. Good change. Not much here. What? Really not much. What do we got to say? No changes to standing medium punch and the pushback on that or anything. I think Sagat's going to terrorize for a while. They're going to let that simmer for a while. Law's going to eat good for the next season. All right, Sea Viper. What do you got for me? What do you got for me for the character I'm about to drop for Alex? Viper is a character with a unique mechanic. With unique... excuse me. We're almost done. Almost done here. Final one. Let's go. Viper is a character with unique mechanics like her high jump cancels and feints, which add complex inputs to her neutral and combos that are difficult to master. Due to this complexity, we believe this often led to performing some moves unintentionally, which made her strengths as a character hard to utilize. This time we looked over the overall strength of her moves with the aim of encouraging her unique playstyle, which mostly involved improving the benefits of using drive gauge for a high jump cancel. We also adjusted her super art 2 so it's not as easy to activate by accident. Oh my god, they heard me. Every time I went to DP, I would get level 2. Eased the difficulty of her combos and generally improved her ease of use as a character. I don't know if I like that. The whole cool part about Viper is that she's hard to use. We'll see what they actually mean by that. But like, I already like that they addressed the drive rush screen freeze eating jump inputs, which was a big nerf to Viper. So that they actually buffed Viper with that change. We'll see what they mean, though. Crouching medium punch. There has been a slight increase to the duration of the move as well as its hurt box. Okay. This should make it easier to use as a medium range poke and better at stopping an opponent's drive rush. Yes. Thank you. Okay. All right. Better footsies. Yes, that's exactly what I was struggling with for sure. Standing heavy punch. The block stun is increased, so now Viper is +1 after a block stand heavy punch is canceled into a fainted heavy thunder dash, making it a powerful pressure tool. That's fucking huge. What the fuck? This was 0 on block. Before, Viper had no feints that were without drive rush or being in burnout were actually plus on block. Stand heavy punch, super jump cancel feint, which cost a bar of drive gauge, was +0. This is huge. These are two huge buffs back to back. That's actually fucking crazy. Aerial burning kick, non-overdrive versions. The block stun has increased. Now if you use the light or medium versions immediately after a forward high jump, you'll be +1. This is similar to the adjustment made to our standing heavy punch, which will offer. Why wasn't she like this on release, man? Now I gotta play Alex? You're giving all these buffs? This is crazy. If your aerial burn kick is guarded as a cross-up and you land behind your opponent, the recovery has been adjusted so that you're not left at advantage, which is the same as before. Okay. So easier plus on block burn kicks. So you can just use it as like a poke. If you use the light or medium versions, light, you don't move forward at all. Well, I guess it's a super jump. Yeah, you're just going to be able to super jump in. They're saying forward high jump, which is super jump. You're just going to super jump in, burn kick can be plus. It was very hard to make plus before. It was very specific spacing. Stand heavy kick. The blowback when hitting an airborne opponent has been adjusted, so now it should be easier to follow up with an attack. Following with an overdrive burning kick should whiff less often mid-screen, and there should be also more situations where you can follow up with a super art level 1. I like that, because her heavy kick, you know, you could, if you were on point, her heavy kick can anti-air, and you could super jump cancel into a special move to combo from heavy kick. But because a lot of those options had very poor horizontal range, they would not combo. You would get shit combos from it. So you were decentivized from even using that, and you just use DP. Here, it's like if you're really on point and you call out their jumps, you can now do heavy kick, OD burn kick to level 3 as an anti-air. Furthermore, you can now follow up with overdrive, thunder dash in the corner for higher damage option. Ooh, interesting. Super Art 1. The hitbox has been extended upwards to make it easier to connect against airborne opponents. Oh my god. Now if your opponent neutral jumps on your wake up, the move should whiff less often, even if you wait to confirm the jump. Oh, that's crazy. That always whiffed. I thought that was by design. That's actually huge. You would see her do the cartwheel and it would just phase through them. Now it'll actually hit them. We've also made it so that using Thunder Dash and Burning Kick during the Super Art Level 1 effect will now increase your drive. Oh, what? Using Thunder Dash and Burning Kick during the Super Art Level 1 effect, like when the timer is active, will now increase your drive gauge. As there is a disadvantage to the move from the Super Art gauge being unable to fill during the duration, this should offset that by making moves normally cost drive either increase the gauge or at least let you leave you at cost neutral, letting you do more Viper things, more... Brother! They actually heard this is... I can't believe... This is like literally verbatim the community complaints around this character. This is so strange. I don't know if I've ever seen a patch note be so one-to-one with what people on Twitter and like what community people who are playing the character were saying the character needs. Better crouching medium punch to check drive rushes. That's like you can synthesize this from the tweets of the Viper players. Viper needs a plus on block option from the feints. I didn't go that far. I thought that was asking for too much, but a lot of Viper players are saying that. Burn kicks being better on block. I thought that was going too far myself, but a lot of Viper players did say that. Stand heavy kick, I was saying that too. I was investigating standing heavy kick for anti-airs, and I thought it was too difficult for no reason. Super Art 1, having the trade-off of halting your meter economy, making it kind of bad to use. Well, they gave you the trade-off. Halt your super meter build, but in the meantime, your drive gauge goes crazy, so you can go ham as fuck. Have fun. One more here. Mission complete, Super Art Level 2. The input shortcut has been disabled for this move when canceling from heavy punch, when a high jump canceling from any move. We observed that Super Art Level 2 is often coming out when players intended to use moves like Heavy Thunder Dash as an anti-air, or when high jump canceling moves into any version of Thunder Dash. This should help mitigate that. The input shortcut has been disabled for this move when canceling from heavy punch. But I don't get it when canceling from heavy punch. I get it when I do it raw when I'm trying to do Heavy Thunder Dash anti-air. So does that actually apply there? I'm not canceling from Heavy Punch. I'm activating with Heavy Punch. That language is kind of strange. We'll see. Now in above situations, inputting something like this or that, and Punch should not activate Super Art Level 2, though the simple input is still enabled when canceling from a special move. Okay. We've received suggestions to change Super Arts Level 2 input to a quarter circle forward, yes, but we tested this before during release, and when high jump canceling to Seismic Hammer, Super Art 2 would override it even more often than with Thunder Dash. So we ultimately decided to go with the current input. Wow, they're really going in depth with this. Yeah, this is a big issue. So it might be more cumbersome to react to things raw with level 2, but you won't get it when doing anti-air. Otherwise, considering Super Art 2's short reach, we decided to improve its use case by improving its effectiveness as an anti-air. We adjusted the collision push box at the screen freeze, so it should now be more difficult for the opponent to slip under the move when they are high up. That happen all the time. Oh, wow. This is a crazy bunch of buffs for Viper. Standing Heavy Punch, -3 to -2, which makes it +1 when fainted. So Drive Rush Heavy Punch is now just +2 naturally. Standing Heavy Kick, decrease the blowback for better, easier combo conversions. Ground Bound time increase when hitting an airborne opponent for better juggles when anti-airing. Crouching Medium Punch, they gave it an extra active frames, and Hurtbox in the arms during the attack's active frames reduced backward. Hurtbox on the arms during the attack's active frames reduced backward. So they decreased the Hurtbox. Okay. So more active frames, beautiful. Easier to check Drive Rush. Heavy Thunder Dash, collision push box expanded upward on hit, making it harder for the opponent to pass under the attack. That would often cause issues with the extension from the DP where they would whiff. I think that's to improve that. Normal aerial burning kick.
Time to get paid.
Hey, Joanne.
Hello, I am new.
Hello, I'm Brian. Thanks for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. Normal aerial burning kick. Knockback time on block increased by 1 frame. Updated so that the opponent is behind Viper when the attack is blocked. Landing recovery is 1 frame more than if the attack hit. Okay. Level 1. Attack hitbox and first and second attacks expanded upwards. Big change. While the timer is active, your special moves increase the drive gauge by 3,000. That's like a bit less than a third of a bar. That's crazy. Super Art 2. All this stuff. Make it better to anti-air. Make it so it's less likely to come out. Okay. Wow. Big W for Viper players. I would like to play with these buffs. I would like to do level 1. I would like to have +1 on block feint. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm kind of, these are changes that get you kind of foaming at the mouth, thinking about the possibilities of what is to come. Okay, we made it through the patch. So overall impressions I'm going to give. I think the overall changes of nerfing Drive Rush overhead and making it so that they're only +1 on block, but easy to walk out of throw pressure, and low chains don't work that well to prevent people from walking away. That's good. I like that change. The big winners from the patch, I think the big winners are Sea Viper. I think Lily, just for the lull factor, I think that's pretty funny. The fact that they gave her all these funny options and finally made her a character that has some unique aspect to her that is willing to play. Who else is a big winner of this patch? Sagat for not getting nerfed. And other than that, I feel like this was a pretty safe. Maybe Jamie. Jamie got some actual like fundamentally strong buffs by buffing his crouching medium kick range and buffing his anti-fireball OD move. I think that's pretty good. And Aki. Aki for sure got some fun new toys to play with. I don't know if she's Omega buffed or nothing, but she got fun new toys. In general, I think this patch is pretty good. This is the kind of patch I would like to see more often. I don't think this is a great patch for how little they've done for so long. I think this is a good patch, though. This is a good patch, but I wish this happened like once every 6 months minimum. Shrikolet, thanks for the $5. Appreciate that, man. But biggest losers. Let's go to biggest losers. Blanka, biggest loser for sure. Nerfed maybe the hardest. Who else? I can't even say Ed. Blanka, and then maybe Zangief players because they just get useless changes over and over. But this being all we get for like a year is definitely a letdown. If they did this once a quarter, once every 3 months or something, this would be great. I think this would be a great small patch. Maybe I think the fact that Mai exists at all, they should count their blessings. But it's going to be hard to fully appreciate the changes. It depends on how much this nerf to the quarter circle forward kick reduces the Oki and how the counterplay develops from the OD fans from here on out. Manon got nothing. I mean, a lot of like the lower tier characters still didn't really get too much. Manon really got nothing. Kimberly kind of got some changes. Like I like a lot of the changes. I think a lot of the changes are kind of fun. They're just a little underwhelming for being all that they cooked up after all this time. That's my critique. But overall, I like it. If this was something that happened more frequently, this would be a great patch. In my opinion. That's how I feel. I don't. There's nothing I fundamentally disagree with anywhere here. So I think it's pretty cool. I like when they give characters new fun toys to play with. I think that's always good for increasing the novelty, getting people excited to try things out. So overall, I'll give this I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. It's a solid patch. I just wish we got this stuff more often. Like the fact that we got nothing here, and what was the last substantial patch? Like hardly any of these patches had any real meaningful changes. Just keep this up is what I would ask. Keep this up. So that's my review of the patch. That's all I got, guys. I'm gonna pretty much wrap it up here. Okay, I'm gonna stop that recording. Woo. Yeah, Bunai, thanks for the prime. Appreciate that. Metal Cat with the big 112. Jeez. What's up, Metal Cat? Torrenders with the 15. Thank you, everybody, for the subs and resubs. Alex is out. Y'all have fun with that. I got to get to bed. It is past my bedtime. I have work in the morning. I got to get going. Maybe I can raid somebody, pass you guys on, but I am 100% packing it up. I'm out of here. I don't know if I'm going to even be able to get this video onto YouTube in time. But let's see. I'll throw you guys over. Who's streaming the patch right now? If you guys want to keep checking things out on the Twitch side. Oh, Twisted is back. I'll send you guys over to Twisted Rivera.
Okay, now I can for sure.
He's back.
save state it.
All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Have a good night on Twitch. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Take care now. Catch you next time. Peace. On YouTube as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. How many of you guys were on YouTube? 2,000 of you on YouTube. Jesus. What the hell?
I'm going to have to do it before.
Jeez. Yo, shout out to you guys on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in as always. I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next time. We'll be doing some Alex tomorrow. Peace.